That today UPSC conducted the civil service examination, that is today on 25th of May 2025. We are going to do a detailed explanation of the paper. We are going to discuss that paper. All the specialized faculties will be coming and will be taking up their own subjects. We are starting with the history and geography. So without wasting any time, let's start the paper. Question number 21st, as we can see here, the question number 21, it came from modern India, and the question says that consider the following statements regarding Raja Ram Mohan Roy. The question states that he possessed great love and respect for the traditional philosophical systems of the East. He desired his countrymen to accept the rational and scientific approach and the principle of human dignity and social equality of all men and women. Now this question, it's very easy question, actually direct and easy. The people who have prepared about Raja Ram Mohan Roy, you must be aware of this thing, that Raja Ram Mohan Roy, he was a person who wanted that there should be balance. There should be balance between the philosophical system of the Eastern world. Along with it, we need to have rational thoughts. We need to have social equality, where women also they have that rights. So therefore, very simple, direct. The answer will be both 1 and 2. Next question, question number 22. This question number 22, it is about the non-cooperation program. Now here, few things have been given. Boycott of low courts and foreign cloth, observation of strict non-violence, retention of titles and honors without using them in public, and establishment of panchayats for settling of disputes. Now if we see here, this is direct. We needed to boycott the courts as well as the cloth. Observation of strict non-violence. Gandhiji had said this thing, that we need to observe strict non-violence. But if we see the next point, retention of titles, no, it was not retention. Rather, we needed to give back the titles like Sir, titles like Rai Bahadur. So we wanted to renunciate the titles, not retention of the titles. Therefore, this is the wrong point. Therefore, 1, 2 and 4. That means 3 statements. How many of the above were parts of non-cooperation program? That means only 3. Okay, so question number 22. Now let's come to 23. Question number 23. Again, one direct question. This question has come from pre-medieval India of the time of Imperial Cholas. This is a question of the time of Imperial Cholas. Now these people, Imperial Cholas, we know that they were very strong people. Why they were very strong? Because their economy was very strong. And why their economy was very strong? Because during this time, agriculture it was very developed. And why agriculture was developed? Because they had used different irrigation techniques. And for this irrigation techniques, what they were using? They were using araghatta. What was araghatta? It was a large wheel with earthen pots tied to the outer ends of the spokes. So it must be something like this. Here, some earthen pots, they are connected, and now we'll be using some bulls, etc. And this wheel, it will be rotating, and we can use it for the irrigation of the fields. Okay, so simple. 23b. Question number 24. Who among the following rulers in ancient India had assumed the titles Mat Vilas and Vichitra Chit? Now again, a very beautiful question this question is again from pre-medieval India, and this question has been asked from the topic Pallavas. In Pallavas, the first important Pallava ruler, who was Mahendravarman I, this man was called as Vichitra Chit. Why he was called as Vichitra Chit? Because of his unique thoughts. He was called as Vichitra Chit because of his unique thoughts. Why unique thoughts? Like, he has written a book. In the book, the name of the book was Mat Vilas Prahasanam. Mat Vilas Prahasanam. This book he had written, and in this book what he has done is, he had shown a discussion between a Buddhist monk and a drunkard person. Now you can just understand how that discussion would be. Okay, on one hand, one very educated Buddhist monk, and on the other side, one drunkard person, and drunkard person is saying, you have stolen my begging bowl. Now that Buddhist monk, he is having very tough time to convince him, sir, I have not stolen your begging bowl, please spare me. But he's saying, no, you have stolen my begging bowl. So it was something very unique thought. And the person is Mahendra Varman 1. Then next question, again very direct. Fayan, a Chinese pilgrim who came in the 5th century AD, first decade of 5th century AD. He came during the time of Chandragupta Vikramaditya. Okay, it was during this time that this person came. He has nowhere mentioned the name of the ruler, but we know that this person has written a book called as Fokwiki. And according to the time duration, we know the person came during the time of Chandragupta II. Then the next question. The question, it is again from pre-medieval India, and this question, it says that who among the following, which of these dynasties, Rashtrakutas, Kakatiyas, Cholas or Hoysalas, which of these dynasties, इनमें से कौन सी dynasty ने क्या किया? What this dynasty did? It campaigned against the kingdom of Srivijaya. Now this dynasty of Srivijaya, this kingdom of Srivijaya, it was present in Southeast Asia. और अगर हमें पता है, if we know this thing that this dynasty was in Southeast Asia, जो already UPSC ने बता दिया, hint दे दिया that ये dynasty Southeast Asia में है. इंडिया में से एक रूलर था, एक डायनेस्टी था, जिसने क्या किया? What it had done? It had defeated this dynasty और अपने आप को बनाया imperial. That means limits outside the mainland of India. So the answer will be Imperial Cholas. एक ही option है, Rajendra 1 Cholas. Very simple. Okay. Next question. Question number 27. Now this is again a beautiful question. This question, several of the people are going to get confused in this question. This question is from ancient India, and in ancient India, the topic is Mahajanapadas. We know there were 16 Mahajanapadas according to the book called as Anguttar Nikaya. Okay, there were 16 Mahajanapadas. Out of these 16 Mahajanapadas, this time what UPSC has done, UPSC has played very nicely here. One of the most beautiful questions of the paper. What UPSC has done, UPSC has given 4 names of 4 Mahajanapadas और पूछा इनमें से ये नदी क्या यहाँ से जाती थी, बहती थी, whether this river was flowing through these Mahajanapadas or not. So now let's check. Asmaka, ये Mahajanapad, where it was present? It was present in the present day Maharashtra, जहाँ आज present day Maharashtra है, वहाँ पर Asmaka था. And we know in Maharashtra, Godavari river, it flows. Godavari river rises from Trimbak Hills, Nasik. So this is correct. Okay. Koshal, again very easy. Even today we know that Koshal, the capital, Ayodhya, and Ayodhya situated over Saryu. Even this is correct. Let's come to Avanti Mahanadi. Now this kingdom of Avanti, it was situated in the region of Malwa. And where is river Mahanadi? River Mahanadi, it flows in the states of Chhattisgarh and Odisha. That means it is not correct. This one is not correct. Next, Kamboj and Vipas. Now, if you know that where is Kamboj situated, so Kamboj is situated in the present day Afghanistan region. Okay, and Vipas means the river Bias. Okay, Vipas is river Bias. And where Bias flows in the present day state of Himachal and Punjab. In fact, it is the only tributary of Indus River, which don't enter into Pakistan. Okay, so you can see both of the two things, they are not matching, and therefore even this is wrong. So how many of the pairs given above correctly matches? Answer will be only 2. Okay, so question number 28. Again a factual question, direct factual question. The first Gandharva Mahavidyalaya, it was set up in 1901 by Vishnu Digambar Paluskar. Where it was established? It was established in the year 1901. Question है बताया ही है कहाँ पर? Lahore. Okay, It was this महाविद्यालय जिसने क्या किया था. This महाविद्यालय, it has rejuvenated the Hindustani classical music. Very very important for rejuvenation of Hindustani classical music. Okay, so this is the answer for this question. Then next question. Ashokan inscriptions suggests that Pradeshika, Rajuka, Yukta were important officers. ये important officers थे किस level पर, कौन से level पर. So question पूछ रहा है कौन से level पर. Now again थोड़ा सा भी हम दिमाग लगाएं. If you are using a bit of common sense, can you see this is Pradeshika. Pradeshika word comes from Pradesh. Pradeshika कौन होते थे? These people, they were the provincial governors. Now अगर और कुछ पता भी नहीं है, even if you don't know anything else, then also यहाँ से clear हो जाएगा that it will be for the provincial administration. Okay, यहाँ पर फिर भी हम add on करते हैं. Let's do some add on here. Pradeshika, यहाँ पर the person was having two powers. Which were the two powers? One, the collection of revenue, and number two, law and order. Both of these powers were present with the person holding the title of Pradeshika. Then Rajuka, these people, ये क्या काम करते थे? ये थे judicial administrators. Judicial administrators also working for धम्मा. किसी को भी injustice नहीं पहुंचाना, धम्मा से related. Okay, and Yukta, they were the subordinates. These people, the record bearers. Yuktas, these people, they were the record bearers. So therefore the answer to this question, direct provincial administration. Let's come to the question number 30. Consider the following statements in respect of non-cooperation movement. The Congress declared the attainment of Swaraj by all legitimate and peaceful means to be its objective. बिल्कुल सही बात है. नागपुर सेशन of Indian National Congress 1920, exactly ये बात बोला गया. Same thing was said here. Okay. By the way, this year back-to-back questions from non-cooperation movement. If you have seen that. Okay. Then next point, it was to be implemented in stages. बिल्कुल सही बात है. बोला गया था कि अगर एक साल में स्वराज ना मिला, if we are not getting स्वराज in next 1 year, then what we are going to do? हम क्या करेंगे? We are going to launch civil disobedience movement where people will be asked, we are not going to pay the taxes. यहाँ हम taxes नहीं देंगे. ओके, नॉन कोऑपरेशन में हम सरकार के साथ कोऑपरेट नहीं करेंगे. सिविल डिसोबीडियंस में हम टैक्सेस नहीं देंगे. सो दैट मीन्स बोथ द स्टेटमेंट्स 1 and 2, बोथ ऑफ देम दे आर करेक्ट. देन नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन जस्ट लेट मी चेक. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन विल बी फ्रॉम क्वेश्चन नंबर 42. Okay, so we are entering into geography, the domain of geography. Geography से भी अच्छा क्वेश्चन आया है. Around 16 questions if I'm not taking into account the environment. Okay, without environment. So 16 questions, अच्छा question है. So let's see the first one. Okay, question number 1 from geography. Consider the following countries: Bolivia, Colombia, Paraguay, Brazil, Ecuador, Venezuela. Andes mountains, they pass through how many of these countries? Now कहाँ से ब्राज़ील में आ जाएगा? If you know the location of Brazil, Andes तो ये है ना, this is the Andes and this is Brazil and this is Paraguay. So that means these are the two countries जहाँ पे Andes नहीं होगा. And Bolivia, Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, यहाँ पूरा का पूरा Andes मिलेगा. So this and this. That means only 4. This will be the answer. Next question. Consider the following water bodies: Lake Tanganyika, Lake Tonle Sap, and Patos Lagoon. ये न्यूज़ में था. By the way, Patos Lagoon. Lake Tanganyika, through how many of them does the equator passes? कहाँ से Lake Tanganyika नहीं? It is Lake Victoria. Equator passes through Lake Victoria. That is the largest lake of Africa. It is not Tanganyika. So Tanganyika Lake Victoria के south में है. Okay, therefore it cannot be Tanganyika. Then Lake Tonle Sap, ये कहाँ पर है? कंबोडिया में। पाटोस लगून ये कहाँ पर है? ब्राज़ील में। और दोनों ही जगह से बोथ ऑफ दीज टू प्लेसेस यहाँ पे इक्वेटर साउथ में है, यहाँ पे नॉर्थ में है। देयरफॉर द आंसर विल बी नन। ओके, नन, कहीं से भी इक्वेटर पास नहीं करेगा। ओके, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन। Next question. This question came from the press release. Direct question from the press release. Consider the following statements about the turmeric during the year 22-23. Now some people will think कि इतना पुराना पूछ लिया। अरे press release तो इसी साल हुआ ना। The press release took place in the month of January 2025. Okay. Now India is the largest producer and exporter of turmeric in the world. 101% correct statement this is. Okay. Not only India is the largest producer, it is largest consumer also, and it is largest exporter. Producer, consumer, exporter, all. More than 30 varieties of turmeric are grown in India. Again, this is also correct. And then Maharashtra, Telangana, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, major turmeric producing states. Again correct. Telangana rank 1, Maharashtra rank 2. So major producers हो गए. That means the answer should be 1, 2 and 3, all the 3. Okay. Then next question, question number 45. Question number 45. Now this question number 45, the people who have even read NCERT fundamentals of geography, class 11th NCERT, origin of continents and oceans, अगर ये chapter पढ़ा है, all the statements have been taken from the chapter. All statements have been taken from the chapter. The belt of ancient rocks from Brazil coast matches with those from Western Africa. Statement is saying, ये जो Brazil coast है, क्या ये घाना के इस वाले coast से match करता है? Answer is correct. Both of these two places, they are having geological similarities. Okay. Then the gold deposits of Ghana are derived from the Brazil plateau when the two continents lay side by side. Now यहाँ पर in this it has been mentioned in the same NCERT under the heading placer deposits. Under the heading placer deposits वहाँ लिखा हुआ है that gold is available here. यहाँ पर gold available है, but we don't have gold bearing rocks. Gold bearing rocks are available here. So in all probability क्या हुआ होगा? What must have taken place during the time of continental drift? During the time of continental drift, gold vein से gold यहाँ आ गया. Okay, and then the Gondwana system of sediments from India is known to have counterparts in 6 different land masses of the southern hemisphere. Yes, again we know one will be South America, second will be Africa, third will be Madagascar, fourth will be Australia, fifth will be Antarctica, and sixth is India. That means all statements, they are correct. Okay, next question. Question number 46. Question number 46. Consider the following statements. The amount of dust particles in the atmosphere is more in subtropical and temperate areas than in the equatorial and polar regions. So the question is saying, if this is Earth, this is equator, this is the subtropical region, this is subtropical region, let us say this is the temperate region. So the question is saying, here and here, both of in these areas, we have more dust particles. Seriously? Yes. बिल्कुल सही बात है. क्यों होगा यहाँ पर dust particles ज़्यादा? Why dust particles will be more here? Because lesser rainfall and nearly all the hot deserts of the world, they are present in this belt, specifically subtropical belt. Whether it is Sahara, whether it is Kalahari, whether it is Atacama, all the dry deserts of the world, they are present in this belt. And we know from the deserts there will be availability of dust particles. Statement number 2 says, subtropical and temperate areas have less dry winds. Seriously? Less dry winds? No, it is not less dry winds. Here the winds are very, very dry. Very, very dry. This statement is wrong. Statement 2 is wrong. So if you see, statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is not correct. Answer will be C. 46 C. Okay. Then next question. Question number 47. Question number 47, again a question from a map given in NCERT. फिर से NCERT from the chapter climatology. Now here proper map दिया हुआ है. They have given that map along with the explanation, and where it has been given two maps, one map of January, one map of July. So in the map of January, if let us say this is the map of the world, ये world का map है. Okay, this is the map of the world. So it is written the isotherms bend equatorward while crossing the land masses. So जहाँ पर भी wherever land mass is there, isotherms bend towards the equator. एकदम सही बात है. Because land and ocean, both of them, they are having contrasting thermal properties. Both of them, there is contrasting thermal properties. Okay. Water is having more amount of specific heat than the land. Okay, that is the reason. So this statement perfectly explains statement number 1. Okay, so this is question number 47. Now let's come to question number 48. Question number 48, again a beautiful question from geography, understanding based question from geography. The question states that there is one statement, statement 1. In the context of effect of water on rocks, chalk is known as a very permeable rock, whereas clay is known as quite an impermeable or least permeable rock. Already this statement is correct. UPSC has given a correct statement. Now what the statement number 2 is saying? It is saying that chalk is porous and hence can absorb water. So is chalk porous? What is porous? If anything is having pores, that will be called as porous. And if the pores are connected, now here lies the answer. If the pores are connected, then it will be called as permeable. In the case of chalk, it is something like that. We have pores and the pores are connected. Okay, like example limestone. Okay, but statement number 3, clay is not at all porous. Now we know clay, it is the tiniest of the particles. If we see the size of the sediments, सबसे छोटा sediment होता है clay से बड़ा होता है silt से बड़ा sand. Okay, फिर यहाँ पर gravel, फिर pebble. Okay, so उसके ऊपर boulder, सबसे बड़ा boulder. So what we can say, clay is not at all porous? No. Clay की क्या खास बात है? There is an important characteristic of clay, and that characteristic is that within the clay we have pores. Pores तो हैं. We have pores, but pores are not connected. Okay, pores available हैं, but the pores are not connected. So that means statement number 3 is wrong. Okay, this statement is wrong. So you can see statement number 3. If you can see, only one of the statements 2 and 3 is correct, and that explains statement number 1. Okay, so this will be the answer. Next question, question number 49. Question number 49 says, without the atmosphere, temperature would be well below the freezing point everywhere over the Earth's surface. Again a perfect statement. Why? Because this is Earth. Why this surface of Earth, it is warmer. क्यों warm है? What happens is, when the sunlight it reaches to the surface of Earth, we know atmosphere is transparent to the incoming solar radiation, but when the same sunlight is going out, what happens is the atmosphere absorbs it. This is called as greenhouse gas effect. बच्चों वाला क्वेश्चन था वैसे ये, greenhouse gas effect. Okay, so question number 1, without the atmosphere, temperature would be well below the freezing point. Yes, heat absorbed and trapped by the atmosphere maintains our planet's average temperature. बिल्कुल सही बात है. अगर यहाँ पर atmosphere ना होता, if there was no atmosphere here, फिर क्या होता? What would have happened? Temperature को absorb कौन करता? So कौन कर रहा है absorb? It is the atmosphere. So heat absorbed and trapped by the atmosphere maintains our planet's average temperature. Perfectly correct statement. Then statement number 3, atmosphere's gases like carbon dioxide, they are particularly good at absorbing and trapping radiation. Again, जैसे मैंने बताया, we have some gases which are having this tendency of absorption, okay, and carbon dioxide, methane, water vapors, these are examples of such type of gases. So the answer to this question will be 1, 2 and 3, that is C. Okay, now after this question there is one question at question number 73. Just a minute. 73 question. Question number 73, it says that consider the following statements, and the statement number 1 is, of the two major ethanol producers of the world, Brazil and USA, the former produces more ethanol. So question is saying Brazil produces more ethanol. See, both of these two countries together, they produces around 80% of the ethanol. But of that 80%, more than 50% it's produced by USA alone, and Brazil, it produces around 28%. That means it is the US that produces more than the Brazil. That means this statement is incorrect. Unlike in US, where corn is the principal feedstock for ethanol production, in US we are making ethanol with the help of corn, but in the Brazil it is molasses, and molasses कहाँ से मिलता है हमें? From the cultivation of sugar cane. Okay, so that means this statement is correct. 1 is wrong, 2 is correct. Okay, after this question we'll be having all the questions from question number 91 to 100. Last 10 questions. Okay, question number 91. Sedition has become my religion. देशद्रोह मेरा धर्म बन चुका है. गांधी जी ने बोला था. कब बोला था? गांधी जी ने बोला था जब गांधी जी ने सॉल्ट लोगो तोड़ा था दांडी पहुंचने के बाद. तो आंसर विल बी बी. ओके, नेक्स्ट, द फेमस फीमेल फिगर नोन एज डांसिंग गर्ल, it is made up of copper and tin, that is bronze. Direct fact, ekdam fact. Who provided legal defense to the people arrested in the aftermath of Chauri Chaura incident? Now here, this is one question where you can find that Madan Mohan Malviya has been mentioned by Bipin Chandra. This name has been mentioned, but nowhere I can find Krishnakant. Okay, I cannot find Krishnakant nowhere. So I believe in all probability answer is going to be B. Okay, let's still wait for UPSC, what UPSC says, but I believe the answer should be B. Okay, then next question. Subsequent to which one of the following events Gandhi ji, who consistently opposed untouchability and appealed for its eradication from all spheres, decided to include the upliftment of Harijans in his political and social program? किसके बाद गांधी जी ने अनटचेबिलिटी के विरुद्ध काम करना शुरू किया? And we know this thing happened after the meeting between Gandhi ji and Dr. Ambedkar. ये मीटिंग कहाँ हुआ था? यरवदा जेल. कब हुआ था? जब पूना पैक्ट साइन हुआ था, जब गांधी जी चले गए थे फास्ट अनटू डेथ पर, एंड देन थ्रू द पूना पैक्ट वो फास्ट तोड़ा गया था, और उसके बाद गांधी जी ने सोचा था कि नाउ आई एम गोइंग टू वर्क फॉर द लिबरेशन ऑफ अनटचेबल्स. ठीक है, हरिजन सेवक संघ भी यहीं के इसके ही बाद बनाया गया था. ओके, Next question from the initial phase of modern India, when Portuguese came, Portuguese brought several fruits to India, like papaya, pineapple, guava, like chiku, even cashew nuts. All these things, majority of them, उनको South America से India लाया गया था. Okay, so that means answer is all the three. Then consider the following countries. Now, in this question, consider the following countries. In this question, if we see UK, Denmark, New Zealand, Australia, and Brazil, the question is how many of the above countries have more than 4 time zones? Okay, how many of these countries they are having more than 4 time zones? Now, in this, Brazil is having 4 time zones. Okay, Brazil is having 4 time zones. UK is having 9. UK is having 9. Denmark is having 5. New Zealand is having 5. Australia 6. Brazil is 4. Question is saying more than 4. Okay, more than 4. Brazil is having 4. Brazil is having 4. So if it has been asked more than 4, I guess Brazil should not be taken. If Brazil is not being taken, then it will be only 4. Okay. Then question number 97. Question number 97, again a question from longitudes, the basics of geography, longitudes. Now here we know there is something called as international date line. International date line. If we see the two places, if this is Alaska, somewhere here we are having Siberia. Okay, and here we have international date line. So question is saying another in Siberia, this place, another in Siberia and Nome in Alaska, they are few kilometers apart. But when people wakes up, they find a different dates. बिल्कुल सही बात है. क्यों? क्योंकि दोनों जगह they are on the opposite sides of international date line. So this is 100% correct. When it is Monday in another, it is Tuesday in Nome. No, it should be Sunday. It should be Sunday क्योंकि दिन यहाँ पहले होगा, ये पीछे चल रहा है. Okay, so this should be Sunday. That means this statement is wrong. Question number 98. Again a direct question. Question number 98. Who among the following was the founder of self-respect movement? And here the answer is Periyar Ramaswamy Nayakar. This person, he was the one who started this self-respect movement. जहाँ पर बोला गया था साउथ इंडिया में, स्पेसिफिकली इन तमिलनाडु, कि शादियों में भी ब्राह्मण्स को नहीं बुलाना. ओके, दिस वाज द मूवमेंट. देन नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, सेकंड लास्ट. Botswana is one of the leading producers of diamonds in the world. Chile, one of the leading producers of lithium in the world. Indonesia, one of the leading producers of nickel in the world. That means all the three, they are correct. And now the last question. Few regions, Mallorca. Mallorca is not in Italy, it is in Spain. Normandy, it is not in Spain, it is in France. And Sardinia, it is not in France, it is in Italy. That means none of these. Okay, so these were the questions from history and geography. I believe you have taken the answers for them. Okay, now Harshmeet sir, I'm going to invite him for the discussion of polity. Thank you. He'll be joining hardly within 30 seconds. Okay, thank you.
Hi everyone, good evening. I hope all of you are doing good. मैं पूरी उम्मीद करता हूँ कि आपने अभी तक जितने भी आंसर्स देखे हैं ज्योग्राफी और हिस्ट्री से, most of these questions you were able to mark correctly. Now we are moving on to questions from Indian polity and governance. Mainly questions are from Indian polity governance. Say there were one or two government schemes that we will be discussing. Also, after this, as sir already told you, we will be having a detailed analysis of each and every subject with the faculty coming on board. So do stay till the end to make sure that you are able to understand which of these did you get right, which of these did you get wrong. Now, if you see questions from Indian polity and governance specifically, there were close to 17 questions that we had. देखते हैं शुरुआत में कौन सा था. If you actually see, it mainly started from question number 51. And most of the questions from Indian polity were very straightforward. There were very few questions that had any kind of confusion. So I really hope कि ज़्यादातर आप लोगों का ठीक गया होगा. Let's see. Question number 51. तो यहाँ से शुरू करते हैं. This was the first question from Indian polity. Question 51. Consider the following statements. First, Panchayat at the intermediate level must exist in all the states. Now, I hope all of you have read the Panchayat Law 73rd Amendment Act. It talks about three tiers, the three-tier structure of Panchayat. But does it say that intermediate level should be in all the states? No, there is an exception. The exception is the states below 20 lakh population may skip the intermediate stage. That is, an example is Arunachal Pradesh. Arunachal Pradesh, mein, there used to be a three-tier structure. Now it's a two-tier structure because they have removed the intermediate layer. The Chief Minister of a state, to be eligible to become a member of Panchayat at the intermediate level, a person should attain the age of 30 years, again wrong. To become a member at any stage of Panchayat at any level, 21 is the minimum age. Third, the Chief Minister of a state constitutes the commission? No. So Chief Minister does not constitute a commission. The Governor constitutes the State Finance Commission. So the State Finance Commission constituted by the Governor. So all these three are wrong. Now interestingly, you had to tell which of these is not correct. So all of these are not correct. The answer here has to be D. So D is the correct answer. Hey, I hope all of you got this right. Now, next question from Indian polity was question number 53. It's polity plus kind of slightly current affair part. Who amongst the following are members of jury to select the recipient of the Gandhi Peace Prize? Now, slightly difficult because usually you have so many of these prizes, awards given by the government. People try and remember the recipients, they don't try and remember who are the members of the jury. But यहाँ पे they have asked कि jury में कौन-कौन है. So, President of India, no. President of India is not a part of the jury. Now, usually again, लमसम अगर आपको लॉजिक ही अपनाना है, usually क्या होता है? See, President is seen at a much higher level than others. So usually you will not see President being a part of the jury. President को jury का part नहीं बनाया जाता. President is higher than that. So President, no. Prime Minister, Chief Justice of India, Leader of Opposition, yes. These three are members of this jury, but not the President of India. So 2, 3 and 4, C would be the correct answer here. 2, 3 and 4, C यहाँ पे ठीक होगा. I hope you got this one right as well. Next, polity से जो question था, that was question number 58 about the Lokpal. Now, Lokpal is something that you keep on hearing time and time again. So, let's see Lokpal से क्या question आया था. So, consider the following statements about the powers of the Lokpal. First statement है, powers of the Lokpal applies to public servants of India but not to Indian public servants posted outside India. ये ट्रिकी स्टेटमेंट है क्योंकि यूजुअली आप लोकपाल के बारे में चैप्टर भी पढ़ो, आप लोकपाल का एक्ट भी पूरा पढ़ोगे, वहां पे भी देयर इज नो स्पेसिफिक मेंशन ऑफ इंडियंस पब्लिक सर्वेंट्स पोस्टेड आउटसाइड इंडिया, उसका कोई मेंशन है ही नहीं. अब लेट्स अज्यूम हमें नहीं पता, आई एम जस्ट टेलिंग यू आपको आंसर कैसे करना है. लेट्स अज्यूम हमें नहीं पता, अभी और देखते हैं. Chairman or member shall not be a member of parliament or a member of state legislature or state or union territory, and only Chief Justice of India, whether incumbent or retired, can be the chairperson. No. अगर आप फर्स्ट लोकपाल को ही देख लो, फर्स्ट लोकपाल पिनाकी चंद्र घोष, इवन ही वॉज नॉट अ रिटायर्ड चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया, ही वॉज रिटायर्ड सुप्रीम कोर्ट जज. सो रिटायर्ड सुप्रीम कोर्ट जज भी हो सकते हैं, पीपल ऑफ एमिनेंस भी हो सकते हैं, ऐसा नहीं कि चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया को ही होना है. सेकंड इज रॉन्ग. सो अगेन हमें अभी फर्स्ट का नहीं पता है, लेट्स अज्यूम सेकंड हमें पता है रॉन्ग है. Chairman and members shall not be persons of less than 45 years of age. Yes, 45 years minimum requirement है. So third हमें पता है, correct है. Lokpal cannot inquire into allegation of corruption against the sitting prime minister. Wrong. Against the sitting prime minister, inquiry cannot be launched in certain things. For example, any decision taken by the Prime Minister about the foreign policy, about atomic energy, defense, etc. वहाँ पे you can't launch an inquiry, but in other cases you can launch the inquiry with certain limitations. So fourth is wrong. अब अगर आप options को देखोगे and assuming आपको first statement नहीं पता है, आप केवल options को देख के पता लगा सकते हो कि answer is A, क्योंकि बाकी और कोई ऑप्शन मैच कर ही नहीं रहा है वहाँ पे. आप एलिमिनेट करोगे अगर 2 और 4 को, और आप देखो थर्ड वाला ठीक है, तो केवल ओनली एक वन ऑप्शन बचता है, केवल ए. सो ए इज द करेक्ट आंसर. सो फर्स्ट भी इनकरेक्ट है. सो ऐसे में यू कुड हैव इजीली एलिमिनेटेड. आपको ये नहीं भी पता है तो कठिन क्वेश्चन नहीं है, इट्स अ वेरी इजी क्वेश्चन टू सॉल्व. नेक्स्ट फ्रॉम इंडियन पॉलिटी वाज क्वेश्चन 66. सो विल जंप ऑन टू दैट. Question 66, again pretty easy simple question. Consider the following statements with regards to pardoning powers of the President of India. Exercise of this power by the President can be subjected to limited judicial review, which is correct. Limited judicial review in the sense कि अगर if the decision taken by the President of India is discriminatory, it's random, malified intention, then it can be challenged. So बहुत limited judicial review है, but है. The President can exercise the power without the advice of the central government. No, this is not a discretionary power of the President. Central government may be, in fact, it is a home ministry specifically. It is a home ministry जिसकी advice पे the President takes a decision. It is not a discretionary power. So first statement is correct. Second here is wrong. Pretty easy again. A has to be the correct answer. So for 66, A is the correct answer here. I hope you got this one right as well. Again, pretty simple, straightforward. Next 67 again from Indian Polity. Consider the following statements. अब ये 67 का जो question that is mostly about the speaker. On the dissolution of the House of the People. अब House of the People का मतलब है लोकसभा. So ये basically लोकसभा की बात हो रही है. The speaker shall not vacate his or her office until immediately before the first meeting of the House of the People after dissolution. Absolutely correct. सो जब गवर्नमेंट गिरती भी है या फिर द लोकसभा इज डिसॉल्व्ड, स्पीकर ऑफिशियली अपने पोस्ट पे रहते हैं अंटिल द नेक्स्ट स्पीकर इज इलेक्टेड, जब वो नेक्स्ट लोकसभा का सेशन होगा. मेन रीजन यही है कि द स्पीकर इज अ पार्ट ऑफ लॉट ऑफ इंपॉर्टेंट कमिटीज, सो द स्पीकर मस्ट फंक्शन. अकॉर्डिंग टू द प्रोविजन ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, मेंबर ऑफ द हाउस ऑफ द पीपल ऑन बीइंग इलेक्टेड एज अ स्पीकर शैल रिजाइन फ्रॉम हिज और हर पॉलिटिकल पार्टी इमीडिएटली. नो, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. इट इज डिजायरेबल कि आप रिजाइन कर दो तो अच्छा है, सो दैट इट शोज कि भाई आप न्यूट्रल हो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल सोमनाथ चैटर्जी, ही डिड रिजाइन व्हेन ही बिकेम द स्पीकर, बट ऐसा कोई कंपल्शन नहीं है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में ऐसा कहीं कुछ नहीं लिखा हुआ है. द स्पीकर ऑफ द हाउस ऑफ द पीपल मे बी रिमूव फ्रॉम हिज और हर ऑफिस बाय रेजोल्यूशन ऑफ हाउस ऑफ द पीपल पास बाय मेजॉरिटी ऑफ ऑल देन मेंबर्स ऑफ द हाउस, प्रोवाइडेड दैट नो रेजोल्यूशन शैल बी मूव्ड अनलेस at least 14 days notice is given. Absolutely correct. 14 days के notice के बाद you can move the resolution by majority of all of them members, and if it is passed, the speaker shall be removed. So first and third ठीक है, second गलत है. अब we actually see options क्या क्या हैं यहाँ पे. First और third में C हम लोगों का ठीक बैठ रहा है. So the answer here has to be C. इसको भी आई वुड पुट इनटू प्रेटी स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड कैटेगरी. अगर आपने इंडियन पॉलिटी का बहुत बेसिक अच्छे से पढ़ा है, स्टैटिक पार्ट, तो यू शुड बी एबल टू आंसर अभी तक के जितने भी क्वेश्चंस आए हैं. लोकपाल वाला थोड़ा सा ट्रिकी था, बट ऑलमोस्ट ऑल ऑफ दीज आर प्रेटी इजी. 68 अगेन फ्रॉम इंडियन पॉलिटी. Consider the following statements first. If any question arises as to whether a member of the House of the People has become subject to disqualification under the 10th schedule, the President's decision in accordance with the opinion of the Council of Ministers shall be final. अब आप सबने एंटी-डिफेक्शन लॉ पढ़ा है. All of you have read about anti-defection law, about the 10th schedule. One of the problems with anti-defection law is the decision to disqualify the member is not taken by the President. It is taken by the presiding officer of the House. So ये गलत है. See, members of the parliament का, as you know, disqualification बहुत अलग तरीके से होता है. If the member has to be disqualified, let's say on the basis of losing citizenship या फिर कुछ और, if they have been sentenced to jail for more than 2 years, then the president's decision is taken. But in this case, the presiding officer of the house decides. There is no mention of the term political party in the constitution. This is slightly tricky. अब इस tricky इसीलिए है, original constitution में नहीं था, but 10th schedule में अभी इंट्रोड्यूस हो गया है. तो schedule इज अ पार्ट ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, राइट. तो अब 10th schedule में आ गया, क्योंकि 10th schedule एंटी-डिफेक्शन लॉ के बारे में है, और टॉक्स अबाउट द टर्म पॉलिटिकल पार्टी. सो अब 10th schedule में आ गया, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में भी आ गया है. सो यू कांट से इट इज नॉट मेंशन इन द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. अगर लिखा होता कि इट इज नॉट मेंशन इन द ओरिजिनल वर्जन ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, तब ठीक होता. because it has been introduced by the 10th schedule. So first and second both are wrong. The answer here would be D. Again, second statement it's slightly tricky क्योंकि 10th schedule से introduce हुआ है. It was not in the original constitution. Make sure that you do remember that. Next from Indian polity was 69. यहाँ पे if you see, consider the following statement. See, this is polity plus थोड़ा सा current affair mixed. First statement, in India, state governments have no power for making rules for grant of concessions in respect of extraction of minor minerals, even though such minerals are located in their territory. ये गलत है. See, minor mineral, major mineral में difference यही होता है. Minor mineral comes under the state government, major mineral comes under the central government. So minor minerals में concession etc. state government is allowed to give. यही पूरा concept है minor minerals का. So first is wrong. In India, central government has the power to notify minor minerals under relevant law. Yes. So central government decides कि भाई minor mineral कौन-कौन से होंगे. But once it is decided, उसके बाद फिर अब the decision will be taken by the central government. So second statement correct है. अब आप देखो कौन सा statement इसमें ठीक बैठता है. First is wrong, second is true. That is only D. D is correct here. Statement 1 is not correct. Statement 2 is correct. क्योंकि अगेन माइनर मिनरल्स आर डिसाइडेड बाय द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट बट देन इट कम्स अंडर द पावर ऑफ द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट कि वो उसको कंसेशन कैसे देंगे. नाउ द अदर सेट ऑफ क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम पॉलिटी वर क्वेश्चन नंबर 80 till 89. अगेन वी आर फॉलोइंग सेट बी हियर. तो सेट बी अगर आपके पास है तो दैट इज द ऑर्डर ऑफ दीज क्वेश्चंस. अगर सेट बी आपके पास नहीं है तो यू कैन मैच दीज क्वेश्चन वर्ड बाय वर्ड. क्वेश्चन 80, कंसिडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट्स फॉर पीएम सूर्य घर मुफ्त बिजली योजना. अब ये थोड़ा सा स्लाइटली ट्रिकी बिकॉज मोस्टली व्हेन यू रीड अबाउट अ गवर्नमेंट स्कीम यू डू नॉट टेंड टू रिमेंबर द एग्जैक्ट फिगर, बट फिर भी देखते व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इज द क्वेश्चन. दिस इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट फ्लैगशिप स्कीम्स ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट. It targets installation of 1 crore solar rooftop panels in the residential sector. That is correct. 1 crore was the aim that the government took. The Ministry of New Renewable Energy aims to impart training on installation, operation, maintenance and repairs of solar rooftop system at the grassroots level. That also is correct. The government is imparting all this training because the government wants to ensure कि ना एक तीर से दो निशाने. Not just does the government want कि the people should get solar power, but they also want the people to get skills and thereby get enough jobs as well. Third statement is a tricky one. It aims to create more than 3 lakh skilled manpower through fresh skilling. अब ये usually क्या होता है whenever the government announces a scheme, आप बहुत सारे figures देखते हो. The government's aim and target of the jobs. ये 3 lakh का target कहीं mention नहीं है. If you look at PIB publications etc. about कि कितना government ने job का aim किया है, there are some places where the government is asking or the government is aiming for 17 lakh job, 17. अब आप कह सकते हो भाई more than 3 तो 17 भी हो गया. 17 is also more than 3, but no, ये ज़्यादा exaggeration हो जाएगा. 3 lakh का figure कहीं पर भी नहीं है. आप कहीं पर भी चेक करोगे. First and second 10 are correct. The answer is A. यहाँ पे third statement slightly controversial because let's say if you go ahead and search on AI tools, they might tell you third statement is correct, but if you actually see, there is no government source that is telling you that the third statement is correct. So answer here, we are going ahead with A. 1 and 2 here are correct. Next question from Polity was 81. Again, now there are straightforward questions from Polity. With reference to Indian polity, consider the following. First statement, an ordinance can amend any central act. You all would have read about the ordinance under Article 123. The Parliament has the power to pass ordinances, or rather President has the power to pass ordinances when at least one house of the Parliament is not in session. Any ordinance is considered at par with the law passed by the Parliament. So whatever a law of the Parliament can do, simple law, the same thing a ordinance can do. So first is correct. It can amend a central act. So पहले का जो Parliament का law pass है उसको amend कर सकता है. It can abridge a fundamental right? No. Fundamental right से छेड़खानी वो नहीं कर सकते. Ordinance can come into effect from backdate. Retrospective जिसे कहते हैं, retrospective laws हो सकते हैं. As you know, civil laws can have a retrospective effect if mentioned specifically in the law. तो specifically अगर mention है तो बिल्कुल हो सकता है. First and third here would be correct. C is the correct answer here. C यहाँ पे correct है. The other statement here is wrong. 82 is the tricky one. Consider the following statements. ये 3 states के बारे में है from northeast part of India and about their history. Arunachal Pradesh, the capital is named after a fort. and it has 2 national parks, correct. So Arunachal Pradesh, basically capital is Itanagar, it is named after a fort, and there are 2 national parks in Arunachal Pradesh. Nagaland, the state came into existence on the basis of a Constitutional Amendment Act, correct. 1963 में Constitution Amendment किया गया. That is how Nagaland came into being. Tripura, initially part of Part C, and it became centrally administered territory, means union territory, in 1956, and later got a status of full-fledged state in 1972. Again, absolutely correct. If you remember, when India got independent, so there were 4 categories of states: Part A, Part B, Part C, Part D. उसमें से Tripura was in Part C. Later on, transitioned into a union territory with 1956 state reorganization, and then became a full-fledged state. So all these 3 are correct. The answer is C. This one I will put in the category of medium to hard, क्योंकि थोड़ा सा tough है ये, not the straightforward, but again something that you can go through. 83. With reference to India, consider the following: Interstate Council, National Security Council, Zonal Council. 3 bodies के नाम हैं, and you have to tell how many of the above are established as per the provisions of the Constitution. So Constitution के provisions के according कौन सा setup है? Please understand, they are not asking which of these were set up by the Constitution. नहीं, which of these are set up under provisions of the Constitution. Constitution में उसके बारे में लिखा हुआ है, that is how they were set up. Amongst this, the Interstate Council, it has been set up under Article 263. National Security Council, Zonal Council, these are not set up under the provisions of the Constitution. Zonal Council, as you know, State Reorganization Act 1956 में जब आया, उसके अंडर आया, and National Security Council बाद में आया. This is only the first one जो कि Constitution के provisions के according set up हुआ है. So the answer has to be A. Only one is correct out of the 3. ये करेक्ट स्टेटमेंट इसका होगा. अगेन स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड, बेसिक इंडियन पॉलिटी. नेक्स्ट 84. कंसिडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट्स. फर्स्ट, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया एक्सप्लिसिटली मेंशंस that in certain spheres a governor of a state acts in his or her own discretion. Yes, that is why the governor interestingly has more discretionary powers than the president. Governor कुछ cases में अपने आप से काम कर सकते हैं. The president of India can of his or her own reserve a bill passed by the legislature without being forwarded by the governor. Means ये कह रहे हैं गवर्नर से बिना पूछे स्टेट का बिल सीधा प्रेसिडेंट रख सकते हैं अपने पास. Obviously no, ऐसा नहीं होता है. Whatever bill goes to president is forwarded by the governor only. President अपने आप से नहीं करते हैं. First is correct, so the answer here is A. One only would be the correct answer here. We have about 4-5 more questions to go. 85 then, consider the following pairs. Provisions of the constitution कहाँ पे लिखे गए हैं? Separation of judiciary from executive कहाँ लिखा है ये? Directive principle, absolutely correct. Valuing, preserving the rich heritage of our composite culture, it's a part of fundamental duties again. Prohibition of employment of children under the age of 14, absolutely correct. This is under Article 24, which is a part of fundamental rights. तीनों चीजें कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में यही लिखी हैं जहां पे आपको दिखाया गया है. So all these are correctly matched up. The answer has to be C. All the 3 are matched. For 85, set B again, the answer is C. Do make a note of that. Next is 86. 86 वाला is slightly tricky. Usually schedules में आप जब देखते हो schedule 5, schedule 6 थोड़ा tricky होता है, but questions उससे हमेशा आते ही हैं. Consider the following. With reference to the Constitution of India, if an area of a state is declared as a scheduled area under 5th schedule, what happens? First, state government loses executive power in such areas? No, ऐसा नहीं होता है. State government does not lose the executive power. The governor gets more empowered. The governor can ask the union government to have a lot more powers, but the executive power of the state government still remains. The union government can take over total administration of such area under certain circumstances on recommendation of the governor. Yes. So if the governor thinks that there is such a situation जहाँ पे state government is not doing enough, central government can come in and take over administration only if specifically mentioned by the governor. So in this part, second statement is correct. B would be the answer for 86. Next, 87. This I would say is probably the most difficult question from polity governance combined. They are asking you to match the following pairs with the union ministries. Usually people don't read these kind of things. National Automotive Board. See, if I would have been an aspirant, मैं तो एक question छोड़ा था क्योंकि थोड़ा tricky है, news में भी नहीं रहता है ज़्यादा. National Automotive Board, Ministry of Culture, Commerce, no. ये actually Ministry of Heavy Industry से है. Coir Board एक और नीचे ये MSME से है. And नेशनल सेंटर फॉर ट्रेड इंफॉर्मेशन, ये एक्चुअली कॉमर्स और इंडस्ट्री से, तो तीनों ही गलत है एक्चुअली. All these three are actually incorrectly matched. If you would have taken a chance, I hope you got this right, but none of these are correctly matched actually. The answer has to be D. I would advise you to leave such questions where you do not have any chance at all. Couple of more questions. 88. Consider the following subjects under Constitution of India. आपको बताना है इन तीनों में से किसके अमेंडमेंट के लिए you require ratification of half of the state legislatures as well. First, list one of union list in the 7th schedule. Yes, तो तीनों में से कोई भी लिस्ट में आप अमेंडमेंट कर रहे हो, you require ratification of at least half of the state legislature. Extent of executive power of the state, yes, इसके लिए भी आपको half of the state से consent लेना पड़ेगा. Condition of the governor's office, no. अगर आप आर्टिकल 368 पढ़ोगे, इन आर्टिकल 368 they have specifically mentioned what are the areas under which we have to take ratification of at least half of the state legislature as well. So first and second correct है, third is wrong. अब if you see options कौन सा match कर रहा है हमारा, first and second correct है, मतलब A is the answer here. A is the answer. Third वाले में आपको नहीं match करना पड़ता है. Okay. Last question from Indian Polity is 89. With reference to Indian polity, consider the following statements. First, the governor of a state is not answerable to any court for the exercise and performance of the powers and duties of his or her office. Absolutely correct. Court में questions can't be asked to governor on the president. No criminal proceedings can be instituted or continued against the governor during his or her term of office. Again, absolutely correct. They get complete immunity from any criminal charges only up till their tenure. Third, members of a state legislature are not liable to any proceedings in any court in respect of anything said within the house. Yes, whatever they say within the house while taking part in a debate or voting or however they vote, it cannot be challenged in the court. All these three are correct. This was pretty straightforward from the immunities part of it. All these three are pretty straightforward. The answer here has to be D. So again, about 17 odd questions from Indian polity. If you did prepare well, I don't see any reason why you should not have answered at least 14 to 15 of them correctly. The industries one was slightly tricky. Lokpal one statement was tricky, but usually you should have been able to answer 14 to 15 of them. Now we'll switch on to science and technology and see how many you got right. We'll now be introducing to you Alok Pathak sir, who will take up science questions. Thank you so much, guys. Just stay tuned for 30 more seconds and sir will be right here.
So hi everyone, my name is Alok Pathak and I am now going to discuss the question that has been asked in this year prelims examination from the science and technology section. So first of all, we will take a little bit basic about that, how many questions has been asked. So if we take into the totality, at least we can say 14 questions were anyhow directly indirectly were asked from the science and technology. Okay, so let's start directly with the questions and okay. Okay, let's look out the first question, and the first question is related to, okay, the first question, if you look out, that it is asking about power train vehicles. It's asking about alternative, just wait, alternative power train vehicle. So what this alternative powertrain means, first of all, if we know what this powertrain means, then we can easily solve this question. So powertrains are the system that provide energy for transmission to the wheels in a vehicle. So what is then this alternative means? So in powertrain system, we usually use internal combustion engines. Okay. So what are the alternatives that we can use against what? Internal combustion engines. So yes, if we have to look out the option, the first one is given, full battery electrical vehicle. Yeah, that one is correct. The second one says hydrogen fuel cell. Yes, we can use them. The third one says fuel cell electric hybrid vehicles. Yes, all of them can be used as alternative to our powertrain system, conventional powertrain system, as an alternative. So our answer is going to be the C, that is all the three. Okay. Now let's move to the second question, and definitely this question is one of the most probable question for this year. And the question is asking about unmanned aerial vehicles. Unmanned aerial vehicles. And this question can be easily solved with the logic. So just read out the first statement. The first statement says all type of UAVs can do vertical landing. Can do vertical landing. So there are two types of UAVs, my friends. First, where the wings are fixed. They have the fixed wing, like some UAV is there and they have a fixed wings. Okay. So in these type of UAVs which are having the fixed wings, can they do the vertical landing? No. For them the vertical landing is not possible. Only those UAVs which are having what? A helicopter like system, quadcopter system, they can only do what? Vertical landing. So they can perform what? Vertical takeoff and landing. Okay. So yes, first statement seems totally incorrect. The second statement says all type of UAVs can do automated hovering. Hovering means वो एक ही जगह पे रुका हुआ है, एक ही जगह पे रुका हुआ है. And definitely in this situation also, these fixed type wings UAVs are not able to perform hovering. Only your quadcopters UAVs are able to perform hovering. So second statement also seems 100% incorrect. Now let's move to the third statement. It's little bit tricky, and definitely many of the student has made even the mistake in this third statement. The statement is saying all types of UAVs can use. Here the word is can, and whenever a student find this can word, they think that okay, can means definitely a possibility is there. Can use, but remember what they have given over there, all types can use battery, then next keyword is only. Next keyword also they have added only. All type of UAVs can use battery only as a source of power supply. Now if those students who have just solved this question with the help of this can thing, definitely they have made one mistake over here, because there are many type of UAVs, surveillance UAVs, there are attack UAVs. So in those type of UAVs, the more power is needed, more maneuvering power is needed, more time of flight is needed. In that situation, they need what? Even the aviation fuel. So with all these things, we can say this thing that third statement also seems incorrect, and we have to find out the correct one. So none of them is correct in the second question. Okay. Now let's move to the third question. The third question definitely going to be little bit difficult for those students who are not from the science background, but still if you have gone through your current affair properly, many times you have seen these elements somewhere in the current affairs. Definitely when we talk about what? The battery vehicles, whenever we talk about electric vehicles, definitely some metals or elements we have to use in those batteries. So yes, nickel, we know this thing, that nickel we use, lithium we use, okay, nickel and lithium, we know about these two. Then we have left out with cobalt and graphite, and definitely the option that they have given in such a way, only one, only two, definitely it's going to be little bit difficult for most of the students. But here your cobalt, lithium and nickel, all these three can be used as cathode, but not the graphite. Graphite always used as a anode. This is the correct thing, and the graphite was there in the news in the last 2-3 years, in many of the articles. Definitely we do not find this article in somewhere in the conventional newspaper. So our answer is going to be the C, that is only 3. Okay. Now let's move to the question number 4, a very easy question. They are asking about how many of them contain plastic. Very easy. Yes, cigarette butts, definitely they have the plastic content in them. Eyeglass lenses, now we make the glasses made up of the plastic for durability, for their thickness, thinness, and even for their what? More clarity. and many other properties. Car tires, definitely. In car tires also we use different type of plastic. So this is a very easy question, fourth one. So all of the above, all of the three. Now let's move to the fifth question. Okay, this can be little bit tricky for most of the student, and the question is asking about that coal gasification technology. They are asking about coal gasification technology, and if you go through the PYQs, you will somewhere find this coal gasification thing also. Okay, technology can be used in the production of how many of them? How many of them? So what is coal gasification? Where we convert the coal into the gas, and this gas is known as what? Syngas, synthetic gas. And in this synthetic gas, the most of the quantity is carbon monoxide, then we have carbon dioxide, hydrogen, and methane is also there. So syngas is having all these constituents, and with this what we can create. So if you have little bit understanding about what is the syngas is made up of, you can easily find out some of the answers, like ethanol is there, urea is there, but not the nitroglycerin, because nitroglycerin is made from the glycerin that we extract from some fats, and here there is no role of syngas as such. So second one is incorrect, 1 and 3rd is correct, so only 2 is the correct one. Okay. Now let's move to the question number 6. The question number 6 is very logical question, means if you use little bit logic you can easily solve this question. So there are some words, and this is a traditional way of UPSC to ask these questions. Cl20. So maybe definitely you have not heard about these two, but Cl20 was there in the current affair in 2024. It was there in the current affair, Cl20 in the current affair. Okay, if you have not heard, then how you can solve this question? You have to look out the options. If you have gone through your science and technology with decent manner, you can easily see that C and D are anyhow talking about the same thing. They are these are high energy fuel for cruise missiles. If you have gone through that different stages, solid, liquid, and other, you can easily see these things, that you have never heard about these things as used as a propellant anywhere. Okay, so C, D easily you can eliminate, and from your environment also never you have heard about them as HCFs. So you can eliminate A also there. So the correct answer is B, and this was there in the news in 2024. Okay, means if you want to ask that from where they have asked the question. Now let's move to the next question, that is question number 7, and the question number 7 is talking about Majorana, and definitely this was the most probable question for this year prelims examination, because from the last 10 years Microsoft was doing research on a quantum chip, because in quantum technology the biggest challenge is the building of a quantum chip, because in a quantum chip you cannot install more than 24 quantum bits. So in this research done by the Microsoft, what they have achieved, they have created a chip on which they can install millions of qubit, and if they can install a millions of qubit, you can easily understand the thing, how much computation power we can increase with this thing, and this is going to transform the computing forever in the coming years. And recently the Microsoft have achieved this thing. And what are Majorana? Majoranas are actually your fermions. Okay, they are your fermions. So if you look out this question, okay, if you do not have that much understanding about the quantum technology and everything, but if you have gone through your current affair properly, everyone knows this thing, that anyhow Amazon Web Services has to do nothing with this thing. If they have to do something, they have to do something with the cloud computing. Okay, so definitely you can easily eliminate the second option, and if you eliminate the second option, because it is by the Microsoft, and how you can remember these things, Majorana, Microsoft, M to M. So these type of things many times help you in the solving the question. So yeah, second one is incorrect. If you eliminate the second option, you can easily get your answer, that is C, 1 and 3. Yes, it is expected that Majorana 1 chip will enable quantum computing. Deep learning is a subset of machine learning. We know this thing, this is AI, this is machine learning, then this is deep learning. Simple. Okay. Now let's move to the question number 8. The question number 8 is about monoclonal antibodies. So yes, it's not the particularly they have not asked the question like this on the monoclonal antibodies, but yes, it is somewhere there in the current PYQ if you go through your PYQ properly. So if you have gone through, you have heard about this monoclonal antibodies, and many times it's there in the current affair all the time. And if you know the basic that what are monoclonal antibodies, you can easily solve this question. So what are monoclonal antibodies? These are man-made, lab-made antibodies. And what is the role of antibodies? We know this thing, second is correct. If we know what is the role of the antibodies, first man-made, that is also correct, and if both are correct, they can easily do the third part also. So yes, all are correct. D is the correct answer in this. Okay. Now let's move to the question number 9, and again a very logical application based or approach based question, you can say. No virus can survive in ocean water. No virus. Is it possible that no virus can survive in ocean water? And for our understanding, we know this thing as an information that ocean water is having the lot and the maximum diversity of the different types of viruses. So first is totally incorrect. Second one, no virus can infect bacteria. Then what we have heard about the bacteriophages. Definitely bacteriophages have the ability to infect the bacteria. We use them for transfer of genes also. Definitely you have done that in your recombinant DNA technology. Now the third statement says no virus can change the cellular transcription. This is the main role of the virus, to change what? The complete of this central dogma of an organism. So all the three are incorrect. So the answer is going to be none. None is the correct answer. Okay. None is the correct answer. Okay. Now we will move toward the next question, and that is question number 54. 54. And they are asking about the Gagan, a complete PYQ based question. Already UPSC has asked the question on Gagan earlier, and again they have asked about the Gagan. So Gagan is GPS aided geo augmented navigation system. It's a regional navigation system of India, and they are asking three statements about it. It is designed to provide additional accuracy and integrity. Very basic statement. Augmented means what? It's helping out in the navigation system to get more accuracy from the GPS signals. Second statement says it will allow more uniform and high quality air traffic management. Yes, it is developed by Airport Authority of India for what? Air traffic management. And why we came up with the Gagan? Because in airport the airstrips are very close to each other. Okay, and there is not that much accuracy with the GPS signal. So for that only we have came up with the Gagan system in this. Remember, we do not only have what? The ground based augmented system, we have ground based as well as satellite based augmented system, both. We have merged the both. Now the third statement is saying it will provide benefit only in aviation but not in any other mode of transportation. Totally incorrect. You can use this in the traffic management of railway, road, disaster management, and anywhere to get more and more accuracy. So yes, answer is D, that is 1 and 2. Okay. Now let's move to the next question, that is question number our 61, 62, 63. 61 question number is related to rare earth metal, and always the rare earth metal were there in the current affair, and definitely whenever you find some type of these issue in the current affair, definitely you have to focus on the basics also. So the rare earth metal does not mean that they are rare. Their extraction is very, very expensive. That's why they are known as rare earth metal, and definitely they are used in what? Television screen and computer monitors. The second statement says element have phosphorescent properties, means they emit light. So now if they are emitting the light, definitely that's why we are using them in the screens. So first and second both are correct, and second is completely explaining the first statement. So the answer is A is correct one. Okay. Now moving to the question number 62. It was there in the news 2 years back, but they have asked the question in 2025. So because there is something called National Rail Plan is there. Okay, National Rail Plan is there, in which government has decided to become future ready railway system by 2028. No, it's not 2028, it's 2030. So it's 2030. So first one is incorrect, and here my friend you have to focus that you have to find out the not correct one. Okay, not the correct, not correct one. Next, Kavach is a automatic train protection system developed by collaboration with Germany. No, we have done this indigenously, and even Germany wants to get some insight from this system and want to induct in their system. So definitely the second one is also incorrect. Now the third statement is saying Kavach system consists of RFID tags. Always the favorite area of UPSC, RFID tags. Already they have asked the question, and definitely in future also they will ask the question. So Kavach system consists of RFID tags fitted on track in station section. See, here maybe some student get confused that in station section, yes, in station section plus many other areas also. But this is one part of that complete system, so this one is correct. So only third statement is correct, first and second is incorrect, so answer is going to be 1 and 2 only. Now let's move to the next question, question number 63. Very easy question. Axiom 4, SpaceX and Gaganyaan, how many of the space mission given, here read the question carefully, encourage and support microgravity research. Definitely Gaganyaan will do this thing. Okay. Axiom, if you have read it about, definitely ISRO is a partner to this, and definitely this is totally deal with the microgravity research. There is a complete module in this mission. Now if we talk about the SpaceX, everyone have read about this thing, that in SpaceX what is going to be there, we have done the docking part. Definitely why we are doing the docking? To create a space station, and if we are creating the space station, in a space station definitely we are going to do what? Microgravity research. थोड़ा सा दूर जाना था बस सोच में. So yes, all are correct. So C is the correct answer. Okay, so this is all the question that has been asked from the science and technology. Out of 14 question, if you have gone through your classes properly, your notes properly and everything, and have gone through the current affair properly, easily you can manage 8 to 9 questions. Easily you can manage 8 to 9 questions. So now the next faculty will come, Amit Pathak sir, and he is going to help you out with the analysis of ecology and environment. Kindly wait for 10 to 15 minutes. 10 to 15 seconds, sorry.
Hello and good evening everyone. The hard part is over. आप सब रिलैक्स कर रहे होंगे और एक बहुत बड़ा बोझ आपके सिर से उतर गया होगा. यूपीएससी प्रीलिम्स हो गया है. हम यहाँ चर्चा कर रहे हैं. वी आर डिस्कसिंग अबाउट द क्वेश्चंस दैट हैज़ बीन आस्क्ड इन दिस एग्जामिनेशन. इन्वायरमेंट और इकोलॉजी के जो क्वेश्चन थे जो मैंने देखे, लगभग 12 क्वेश्चन थे. देयर वर रफली अराउंड 12 to 13 क्वेश्चन. देयर कुड बी सम ओवरलैपिंग areas also, but remember this time what I have observed is that UPSC wanted to see the wisdom of the student, not the fact, not the factual material. You will see several, and I'll show you as well that there are several areas where the questions were straightforward, but you have to use your logic, your common sense, etc. to get the answer. Just let me reach to the questions, and we'll be starting with question number 10. Okay, and I'll show you something which will tell you कि यूपीएससी चाहती क्या है. चाहती वो ये है कि ठीक है आपके पास फैक्ट है, you have the fact, no issue with that, whether you are in a position to apply that fact or not. See this question number 10, it says consider the following statements. Now the statement first is activated carbon is a good and attractive tool to remove pollutants from effluent streams and to remediate contaminants from various industries. Obvious statement है. Second statement. Now come to this part. Activated एक्टिवेटेड कार्बन एग्जिबिट्स अ लार्ज सरफेस एरिया। रिमेंबर, लार्ज सरफेस एरिया का मतलब ये होता है कि वो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा चीज़ों को एब्जॉर्ब करेगा। नाउ हियर इज़ द पार्ट जहाँ पर आपके कॉमन सेंस और विजडम, मतलब आपने इंफॉर्मेशन तो पढ़ा, सीखा क्या, उस चीज़ की बात हो रही है यहाँ पर। A large surface area, which is very important, which is very very important if you are using something for absorbing pollutants and strong potential for absorbing heavy metals. Okay, now activated carbon can be easily synthesized from environmental waste with high carbon content. अब यहाँ पर बात हो रही है environmental waste, obviously it will contain high carbon waste. ये सब सही है, बस सब बातें सही है, तीनों स्टेटमेंट आपके सही है, लेकिन पूछा क्या गया है? पूछा ये गया है दिस स्टेटमेंट फर्स्ट, ये फोकस कर रहा है पोल्यूशन के ऊपर, पोल्यूशन के ऊपर, एंड दिस स्टेटमेंट शोज हाउ इट इज मेड। तो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के बारे में स्टेटमेंट सही है आपका, लेकिन पोल्यूशन के लिए ये सही नहीं है। दिस इज हाउ it is manufactured, this is how it will work, it will absorb the pollutant. This is called application of the fact or concept that you have studied in the class. So for this you can say in this that statements are correct, but we have to see, just give me a second. Now see, both statement 2 and statement 3 are correct and both of them explain statement 1. No, क्योंकि दूसरा वाला जो हमने देखा था वो तो सिर्फ ये बता रहा था कि उसकी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कैसी होगी. So you can see both statement 2 and 3 are correct, but only one of them explains statement 1 because it was talking about pollution control using this particular substance. Now talking about moving to next question, just pardon me, this is a huge PDF and it's taking some time to load. Our next question is, see basically जो मैंने ये देखा है कि अगर आप एप्लीकेशन पे फोकस करेंगे, whatever you have studied, whatever you have learned in the class, you could have solved. Just give me a second. And come to question number 11. Yes, again, see, ये आपके पढ़े हुए क्वेश्चन का एप्लीकेशन पार्ट आया था, स्मार्टली पूछा गया था. हम ये नहीं बोलेंगे कि ये जब यूपीएससी की इस बार का क्वेश्चन टफ था, मॉडरेटली टफ था, इजी था, ये सारे कीवर्ड्स जो होते हैं वो यूज़ उतने ईजिली हम कर तो जाते हैं, लेकिन उसका मतलब नहीं निकलता. सी द क्वेश्चन सेज कंसीडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट. स्टेटमेंट 1 वाज, दिस वाज द प्राइम स्टेटमेंट. Studies indicate that carbon dioxide emission from cement industries account for more than 5% of global carbon emission. It is roughly around 7 to 8% to start with. ये बहुत पहले का फैक्ट है. इनफैक्ट 2023 में एक रिपोर्ट भी आई थी. Silica bearing clay is mixed with limestone while manufacturing cement. Yes, it is true, but again, this is how it is made. हम बात कर रहे हैं कि ये बनता कैसे है. यहाँ पर बात हो रही है कार्बन एमिशन की. वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट कार्बन एमिशन एंड दिस इज टॉकिंग अबाउट हाउ इट इज मेड. नाउ कम टू द थर्ड वन. Limestone is converted into lime during clinker production for cement manufacturing. Actually होता क्या है, when CaCO3 undergoes, जब ये टूटता है, it makes CaA plus CO2 and it is emitted in the atmosphere. तो ये जो था ये तो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का स्टेटमेंट है. दिस इज अ स्टेटमेंट रिलेटेड टू मैन्युफैक्चरिंग. दिस इज टॉकिंग अबाउट कार्बन एमिशन. So this is around 7 to 8% and this is true as well. This जो क्लिंकर प्रोडक्शन मेथड होता है उसमें CaCO3 टूटता है, CaO plus CO2 बनता है. And that is why we can say in this particular question that both statement 2 and statement 3 are correct, बट ओनली वन ऑफ देम एक्सप्लेन स्टेटमेंट 1 जिसमें CO2 रिलीज हो रहा है। नेक्स्ट बात करते हैं COP28, इससे क्वेश्चन तो आना ही था। इसमें है कंसीडर फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट, स्टेटमेंट 1 क्या कहता है, ये स्टेटमेंट हमारा प्राइम स्टेटमेंट है एंड इट सेज दैट एट COP28 यूनाइटेड नेशंस क्लाइमेट चेंज कॉन्फ्रेंस COP28 इंडिया रिफ्रेन्ड, अपने आप को रोका था फ्रॉम साइनिंग द डिक्लेरेशन ऑन क्लाइमेट एंड हेल्थ। ये बात सही है, इट इज़ ट्रू, दिस इज़ ट्रू। अब इसके पर्सपेक्टिव में आपको अपना विजडम लगाना है। आपने क्या सीखा? UPSC इज़ डिफरेंट, इट इज़ नॉट द क्लास 11th और क्लास 12th और द कॉलेज जहाँ पर हम ज़्यादा पढ़ करके इंफॉर्मेशन लेते हैं। नो, इट्स नॉट अबाउट इंफॉर्मेशन, इट इज़ द एप्लीकेशन ऑफ द इंफॉर्मेशन एंड कॉन्सेप्ट। सी, द COP28 डिक्लेरेशन ऑन क्लाइमेट एंड हेल्थ इज़ अ बाइंडिंग डिक्लेरेशन। ये बहुत बड़ा स्टेटमेंट है एंड दिस इज़ नॉट द केस। व्हाट वाज नॉट द केस? ये बाइंडिंग नहीं था, इट वाज वॉलंटरी। अगर आपकी इच्छा है यू कैन कम, अगर आपकी इच्छा है यू कैन नॉट साइन, ये वॉलंटरी था। अब अगर तीसरा स्टेटमेंट देखते हैं, प्राइम स्टेटमेंट हमको यही रखना है। तीसरा देखते हैं, इफ़ इंडियाज़ हेल्थ सेक्टर इज़ डीकार्बनाइज्ड, एक्चुअली ये जो स्टेटमेंट है वो यही बोलता है कि हम डीकार्बनाइज कराएंगे अपने हेल्थ सेक्टर को। तो इफ़ इंडियाज़ हेल्थ सेक्टर इज़ डीकार्बनाइज, द रिजिलियंस ऑफ इट्स हेल्थ केयर सिस्टम मे, नाउ दिस इज़ समथिंग दैट यू शुड बी फोकसिंग अपॉन, इसको देखना होगा, मे बी कॉम्प्रोमाइज्ड। अब ये स्टेटमेंट खुद में बहुत बड़ा स्पेकुलेशन है, इट्स अ स्पेकुलेटिव वन। इसके बारे में हम अभी कुछ नहीं बोल सकते, तो हम इसको स्टेटमेंट कैसे मान लें? तो ये स्टेटमेंट तो रॉन्ग है और ये स्टेटमेंट भी रॉन्ग है, क्योंकि ये एक इंडिकेटिव है, ये देखना पड़ेगा हमको। एज ऑफ नाउ दिस इज नॉट ट्रू। सो वी कैन से इन तीनों में से सिर्फ यही स्टेटमेंट सही था हमारा। So of these, D was the correct answer. Again हम बात करें 13th की, the next one is yes 13. Now see again, ये वही है, इस बार सारे क्वेश्चन जो थे ये आपके एप्लीकेशन ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन थे। नाउ सी, जनरल लेते हैं हम, ये नहीं मानते कि UPSC के क्वेश्चन है, जस्ट पढ़ करके देखते हैं। लेट्स रीड दिस क्वेश्चन एंड सी व्हाट इट इज ट्राइंग टू कन्वे टू अस। इट सेज साइंटिफिक स्टडी सजेस्ट्स दैट अ शिफ्ट इज टेकिंग प्लेस इन द अर्थ रोटेशन एक्सिस। ये हम सब जानते हैं, वी ऑल नो दिस। दिस क्वेश्चन वॉन्ट्स टू सी वेदर यू नो वाई इट इज़ हैपनिंग और नॉट। हमको ये देखना है कि क्या इन दोनों में स्टेटमेंट, या 3 हो, 4 हो, 5 हो, कोई स्टेटमेंट ऐसा है जो इसको सपोर्ट करता हो। लेट्स सी। सोलर फ्लेयर्स एंड एसोसिएटेड कोरोनल मास इजेक्शंस बॉम्बार्डेड द अर्थ आउटर मोस्ट एटमोसफियर, पीरियडिकली होता रहता है, विद ट्रमेंडस अमाउंट ऑफ एनर्जी। यस, इट इज़ ट्रू, बट वेदर इट इज़ रिलेटेड टू दिस और नॉट। ये स्टेटमेंट सही है, ये स्टेटमेंट सही है, बट इट इज़ इट रिलेटेड टू इट? ये है एप्लीकेशन ऑफ योर नॉलेज। ये होता है बट नहीं है, ये उससे कंसर्न नहीं, इट इज़ नॉट रिलेटेड टू दैट। इसके कारण इसके एक्सिस और रोटेशन पे असर नहीं पड़ रहा है, इवन दो दिस स्टेटमेंट इज करेक्ट। नाउ स्टेटमेंट 2, एज द अर्थ पोलर आइस मेल्ट द वाटर टेंड्स टू मूव टुवर्ड्स द इक्वेटर। ये स्टेटमेंट सही है, लेकिन क्या इस स्टेटमेंट का इससे कोई रिलेशन है? यस, because see, what will happen that if the water content will start to accumulate at the equator, it will definitely make the shift of earth rotation and axis को कुछ ना कुछ affect करेगा। जैसे आपने पोलर वैंडर्स के बारे में सुना होगा, पोलर वैंडर्स, तो यस, इट विल ऑब्वियसली अफेक्ट द टिल्ट, द मूवमेंट एंड द रोटेशन एंड द एक्सिस। तो इसमें हमारा जो पहला स्टेटमेंट है उसको सिर्फ यही सपोर्ट कर रहा है, सिर्फ यही सपोर्ट कर रहा है। दैट मीन्स both the statement 2 and 3 are correct, but only one of them explains statement 1. So अब एक सेकंड के लिए अगर आप सोचेंगे, एक सेकंड के लिए just see this, ये सारे स्टेटमेंट जो आपके हैं, these statements were not tough, but yes, using this statement to justify the first one, इसमें थोड़ा सा आपको मेहनत करनी पड़ती। Now the next question was 14th एंड डू नॉट गेट इनटू एनी काइंड ऑफ स्पेकुलेशन, क्या चल रहा है क्या नहीं चल रहा है, किसके कितने आए हैं। अभी आपका टाइम समय है रिलैक्स करने का। नाउ टॉकिंग अबाउट दिस क्वेश्चन, फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट आर्टिकल 6, ये पेरिस एग्रीमेंट के बारे में बात की जा रही है। ऑन क्लाइमेट चेंज इज फ्रीक्वेंटली डिस्कस्ड एंड इन फैक्ट आर्टिकल 6 इज द मोस्ट कॉम्प्लेक्स, इट इज मोस्ट डिबेटेबल of the all articles of the Paris Agreement. Frequently discussed in global discussion on sustainable development and climate change, ये हर बार होता है, इस पे जो बात होती है एक्चुअली ये थोड़ा सा इसको ईजी बनाता है डेवलपिंग नेशन के लिए और डेवलप्ड नेशन के लिए, इट्स एक्सटेंशन, ये थोड़ा सा उसको ईजी बनाने की कोशिश करता है ये दोनों आर्टिकल। इनफैक्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट आर्टिकल 6.2 एंड आर्टिकल 6.4 स्पेसिफिकली बात करते हैं कि हम कैसे आसान बना सकते हैं। Now see Article 6 of Paris Agreement, Principles of Carbon Market, यही वो मैकेनिज्म है एट्सेट्रा है जो हम इसको ईजी बनाते हैं। एंड देन Article 6 of the Paris Agreement on climate change intends to promote, see, for the developing countries, underdeveloped countries, inter-country non-market strategies to reach their climate target. That means हम पहले से ही जानते हैं कि पेरिस एग्रीमेंट जो था वो बहुत कंट्री फ्रेंडली था। इसमें एक आर्टिकल है 6.2 और 6.4 हमेशा डिस्कस होते हैं, तो इसमें ये सारे स्टेटमेंट सही हैं और ये दोनों इसको जस्टिफाई भी करते हैं। दैट मीन्स वी कैन से बोथ स्टेटमेंट 2 and 3 आर करेक्ट एंड बोथ ऑफ देम एक्सप्लेन स्टेटमेंट 1. यस, इट वाज करेक्ट। द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन दैट वी हैव इज क्वेश्चन 15. स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड क्वेश्चन था, विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग लॉन्च द नेचर सोल्यूशन फाइनेंस हब फॉर एशिया। एशियन डेवलपमेंट बैंक ने किया था और नेचर से रिलेटेड इनके 2-3 इनिशिएटिव्स और थे, जिसमें $2 बिलियन नेचर बेस्ड सॉल्यूशन जो हमारा एक है, नेचर बेस्ड सॉल्यूशन में नेचर बेस्ड सॉल्यूशन पे इन्होंने लगभग 2 to 8 बिलियन $US का और भी इन्वेस्टमेंट किया है। इट वाज द एशियन डेवलपमेंट बैंक। सो इट वाज स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड क्वेश्चन। 11 to 12 क्वेश्चन इन्वायरमेंट और इकोलॉजी से आए थे एंड ऑल दोज क्वेश्चन वर वेरी गुड। एंड टॉकिंग अबाउट द नेक्स्ट वन इज 16th क्वेश्चन। Again, see, with reference to direct air capture, we are capturing something directly. An emerging technology, which of the following statement are correct with reference to direct air? Now see, it can be used as a way of carbon sequestration. ये जो बहुत कठिन सा शब्द आपको दिख रहा है, sequestration, it is nothing. But when we take something legally, हम किसी भी चीज़ को अगर legally ले लेते हैं ना, उसी को हम बोलते हैं sequestration. That's it. तो इट कैन बी यूज टू कैप्चर द कार्बन इन द एटमोसफियर। उसमें कुछ नियम वगैरह होते हैं, उसको जब हम लेते हैं टेक्नोलॉजी यूज़ करके तो हम बोलते हैं वो हम सिक्वेस्टर कर रहे हैं। तो यस, हम ये कह सकते हैं डायरेक्ट एयर कैप्चर में ये होता है। इट कैन बी वैल्यूएबल अप्रोच फॉर प्लास्टिक प्रोडक्शन एंड इन फूड प्रोसेसिंग। ये जो था ये करंट अफेयर्स से आया था। एक छोटा सा इन्फॉर्मेशन आपको बताता हूँ, जो भी हमारे नॉन एल्कोहलिक कार्बोनेटेड बेवरेजेस होते हैं उसमें इसका यूज़ होता है। अगेन इट कैन बी यूज्ड एज अ फॉर्म ऑफ मोनोमर। मोनोमर बोलते हैं अगर कोई बहुत बड़ी सी चीज़ हो जिसको हम बोलते हैं पॉलीमर, तो उसके एक छोटे से पार्ट को हम बोलते हैं मोनोमर। सो यस, इन मोनोमर, इन कार्बोनेटेड, क्योंकि ये इमर्जिंग है, थोड़ा सा नया आया है, एज यू कैन सी इमर्जिंग टेक्नोलॉजी है, इसके जो यूज़ हैं वो कई जगह पर होते हैं। So in plastic production and in food processing, yes, it is being used. This is just 2 of the example, और examples आते रहते हैं current affairs में। Third था, in aviation it can be a source of carbon for combining with hydrogen. Yes, in fact ये जो हाइड्रोजन है ये है ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन। ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन के साथ मिक्स करके इसको सिंथेटिक फ्यूल बनाते हैं जिससे लो कार्बन एमिशन होता है। दिस स्टेटमेंट वाज आल्सो ट्रू। सो एज यू कैन सी जो भी इमर्जिंग टेक्नोलॉजीज़ आती हैं, जहाँ पर इमर्जिंग टेक्नोलॉजी है और जहाँ पर आपको सारे स्टेटमेंट बहुत पॉजिटिव लग रहे हैं, जनरली वो सारे करेक्ट होते हैं। एंड दिस इज़ द क्लासिक एग्जाम्पल ऑफ दिस स्टेटमेंट। द आंसर इज सी। लेट्स सी द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज 17. इट वॉज सी, ये एक ऐसा क्वेश्चन है, इधर यू नो इट और यू डू नॉट नो अबाउट इट बिकॉज यू कैन नॉट गेस एनीथिंग. इट इज टॉकिंग अबाउट अ स्पीसी कॉल्ड पीकॉक टैरेंट्यूला, गुटी टैरेंट्यूला भी बोलते हैं इसको. आंध्र प्रदेश में पाया जाता है, हमारे यहाँ पे बहुत ही क्रिटिकली इंडेंजर्ड है. नाउ इट्स एन ओमनीवोरस क्रस्टेशियन. नो, इट इज़ नॉट क्रस्टेशियन, ये आर्किनेड है. सबसे पहले ये स्टेटमेंट गलत हो गया, और ये ओमनीवोरस भी नहीं है. इट्स अ प्योर एंड प्योर कार्निवोर. इट्स अ प्योर एंड प्योर कार्निवोर. Its natural habitat in India is only limited to some forest areas. Yes, जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, ये आंध्र प्रदेश में confined है और critically endangered है. और जनरली जो ये रहता है, ये बहुत कम ग्राउंड में आते हैं. ये ज़्यादातर पेड़ों पर ही रहते हैं. That means it is arboreal. They live, they usually are seen. अब तक जो हमारे पास information है, these are arboreal. That means they remain more, they spend, जो भी ज़्यादा समय अपना ये spend करते हैं, most of the time they spend are on trees. So in this context, this is wrong. This is correct, Andhra Pradesh, and this is also correct. That means the answer will be 2 and 3. The answer will be 2 and 3. ठीक है, ये थोड़ा करंट का था. इसको आप बोल सकते हैं हाँ, थोड़ा सा मॉडरेटली एट्सेट्रा जो कीवर्ड्स यूज़ होते हैं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता. सी, हमने अभी तक देखा. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन में ध्यान हम देखते हैं. इट इज़ 18, क्वेश्चन नंबर 18. जैसा मैंने आपको बताया था, यूपीएससी इसीलिए बाकी एग्जामिनेशन से अलग है क्योंकि इसमें आपके एप्लीकेशन को पूछा जाता है. एप्लीकेशन आपने जो सीखा, एंड दैट इज़ वाई यू हैव टू थिंक ओवर वॉट एवर यू हैव स्टडीड इन द क्लास एट्सेट्रा. कम टू दिस क्वेश्चन, क्वेश्चन नंबर 18. Consider the following statements. See, this is a question that you should know. UPSC सिर्फ पढ़ के आप एग्ज़ाम क्लियर कर रहे हैं ऐसा नहीं होता. सारी चीज़ों के नोट्स नहीं बनाए जाते. कुछ चीज़ें आपको पता भी होनी चाहिए. फॉर एग्जाम्पल दिस वन, लेट्स टॉक अबाउट दिस क्वेश्चन, एंड इट इज़ टॉकिंग अबाउट द कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड एमिशन. कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड एमिशन इन इंडिया आर लेस देन 0.5 टन CO2 पर कैपिटा. एक ऐसी कंट्री जो 63% फॉसिल फ्यूल पर डिपेंडेंट है, रफली, लेट्स मेक इट रफली, उस पर ये इतना कम. नो, इट इज़ अराउंड 2%. इट इज़ अराउंड 2%. नेक्स्ट, इन टर्म्स ऑफ कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड एमिशन फ्रॉम फ्यूल कंबशन, इंडिया रैंक्स सेकंड इन एशिया पैसिफिक रीजन. रिमेंबर, जो ये एशिया पैसिफिक रीजन है, जिसको हम एपैक भी बोलते हैं, इसमें चाइना भी आता है. And most of the time, not always, most of the time, China leads in most of these type of cases. So yes, this statement is true. The first is China, India is second. But this is factually wrong. 2% है. Electricity, remember हमने अभी बात की है, 63%. And heat producers are the largest source of carbon dioxide emission in India. See, ये तो आपको पढ़ना भी नहीं है, ये तो आपको ऐसे ही एप्लीकेशन ऑफ वॉट एवर यू आर सीइंग इन द न्यूज़ पेपर, इन द करंट अफेयर्स, जहाँ पर आप सुनते हैं, आपको ये पता होना चाहिए. इफ़ यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट यूपीएससी, तो इसमें पहला स्टेटमेंट गलत है, सेकंड सही है, थर्ड सही है. दैट मीन्स सी इज़ द करेक्ट वन. एंड यस, 18th के बाद हम देखेंगे 19th की. 19th डे के बारे में बात करते हैं. ये थोड़ा सा रहता है जहाँ पर आकर के अगर आपसे गलत हुआ है तो चिंता की बात नहीं, डू नॉट वरी. मोस्ट ऑफ द स्टूडेंट वुड हैव मेड द सेम मिस्टेक इन ईयर. इसमें मैच द फॉलोइंग करना था. जिंजर हर्ब विद सीडो स्टेम है, वुडी श्रब कैसावा है, मालाबार स्पेनिश इज हर्बेजियस क्लाइंबर. थोड़ा सा लॉजिक वगैरह इसमें लगना था. मिंट जो होता है, इफ़ यू टॉक अबाउट मिंट, ये एक्चुअली श्रब नहीं होता, ये हर्ब होता है सबसे पहले. एंड अगर पपाया की बात करें तो पपाया को हम वुडी नहीं बोल सकते. ये वुडी श्रब जो होता है हमको देखने में लगता है. नो, सी, देयर आर डॉक्यूमेंटेड क्लासिफिकेशन एंड डेफिनेशन गिवन टू एवरी टाइप ऑफ हर्ब, श्रब एट्सेट्रा. इनका डेफिनेशन बना दिया गया है. अगर आपका जो प्लांट है उस डेफिनेशन में फिट बैठता है, भले वो दिखता भी कैसा भी हो, अगर वो फिट बैठता है तभी हम उसको इसमें करेंगे, क्योंकि एवरीथिंग इन हियर इज़ डॉक्यूमेंटेड. So mint is not a shrub, in fact it is a herb. एंड पेरेनियल हर्ब होता है ये। एंड पपाया जो होता है ये वुडी नहीं होता, ये दिखता है वुडी लेकिन वुडी होता नहीं है। और ये इसको हम बोल सकते हैं कि इसको एक जाइंट हर्ब बोल सकते हैं हम, जाइंट हर्ब, एक बड़ा है लेकिन नॉट वुडी, नॉट वुडी। दैट मीन्स ये दोनों तो हमने कर लिया, ये ठीक है, जिंजर ठीक है, हर्ब विद स्टेम एंड वुडी श्रब। दैट मीन्स 1 2 3 ही इसमें सही हैं। मतलब अगर हम आंसर में जाएंगे, only 3 is the correct answer of this. Next question is rainforest. Now ये जो है ये classical information है, ये basically आपको पता होना ही चाहिए। With reference to planet Earth, rainforest produce more oxygen than by ocean. Remember, roughly 80% ocean से आते हैं oxygen. That makes the statement first wrong. Marine phytoplankton and photosynthetic bacteria produces about 50%. Yes, ये यहाँ पर about लग गया है। yes, nearly अगर हम बिल्कुल साइंटिफिक की बात करें तो 2021 में एक स्टडी हुई थी जिसमें ये 52.83% था, लेकिन इतना याद करने की ज़रूरत नहीं। यू शुड नो दिस कि ये 50% के आसपास ही रहता है। सो ये भी सही है, ये स्टेटमेंट सही है, ये स्टेटमेंट गलत है। Now, well oxygenated surface water contains several folds, that means several times higher oxygen than that in atmospheric air. Now see, ये जो एक क्वेश्चन था, ये जो एक पर्टिकुलर स्टेटमेंट है, ये थोड़ा सा आपको साइंटिफिक इन्फॉर्मेशन होना चाहिए, इन्फॉर्मेशन जो एटमॉस्फेयर का है। एटमॉस्फेयर में हम मान के चलते हैं कि 21% ऑक्सीजन है, लेट मेक्स इट नियरली। और जो वेल ऑक्सीजनेटेड सरफेस वाटर होता है इसमें 8 से 10% ही होता है ऑक्सीजन। सो ये स्टेटमेंट गलत है। दैट मीन्स हमारे पास एक ही स्टेटमेंट सही है और वो है सेकंड स्टेटमेंट, एंड दैट इज 2 ओनली। दैट मेक्स इट बी इज द करेक्ट आंसर। द नेक्स्ट वन इज 90th क्वेश्चन। तो जैसे जैसे हम सॉल्व कर रहे हैं, हो सकता है आप खुश हो रहे हो सकता है आप को लग रहा हो कि ये क्वेश्चन कैसे गलत हो गया, ये क्वेश्चन कैसे गलत हो गया। घबराइए नहीं, आपका जो काम था आपने कर दिया। जो आपके कंट्रोल में नहीं है उसको छोड़ दीजिए यूपीएससी के ऊपर। आपको भी पता नहीं है कि कितने लोगों ने कितने तरीके के मिस्टेक्स किए होंगे इसमें। अब आपका काम है रिलैक्स करना, क्योंकि आपको जो करना था आपने वो काम कर दिया। चलो, आई जस्ट वॉन्ट टू रीच अप टू क्वेश्चन नंबर 90 के बारे में मुझे बात करना है। नाउ टॉकिंग अबाउट द 90th क्वेश्चन। यस, दिस वन। कभी कभी क्या होता है, क्वेश्चन को हम इतना, मेरे ख्याल से अगर आपने क्लास अगर क्वेश्चन 1 से स्टार्ट किया होगा, इट इज़ जनरली मैं रिकमेंड ये करता हूँ कि अगर आप क्वेश्चन देख के पहले क्वेश्चन को देखें और वो टफ़ लगे तो ये माइंडसेट मत बना लीजिए कि पूरा पेपर टफ़ है। नो, आप उस एरिया से स्टार्ट कीजिए जो आपका स्ट्रॉन्ग पॉइंट है, थोड़ा सा कॉन्फिडेंस आता है। तो अगर आप यहाँ तक फर्स्ट से करते करते आए होंगे तो मेंटली आप बहुत कुछ थक चुके होंगे, और मे बी इट इज़ पॉसिबल एंड क्वाइट इट्स अ पॉसिबिलिटी कि यहाँ पर आकर के आप 2 कीवर्ड को मिस कर रहे होंगे, प्रोडक्शन ऑफ क्रूड ऑयल, प्रोडक्शन ऑफ नेचुरल गैस। ये जो 2 वर्ड हैं इसको ध्यान में रखना है। एंड कंसिडर फॉलोइंग एक्टिविटीज़: प्रोडक्शन ऑफ क्रूड ऑयल, रिफाइनिंग, स्टोरेज, डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ पेट्रोलियम, मार्केटिंग एंड सेल ऑफ पेट्रोलियम प्रोडक्ट, प्रोडक्शन ऑफ नेचुरल गैस। ये क्वेश्चन ये पूछ रहा है, हाउ मेनी ऑफ द अबव एक्टिविटीज़ आर रेगुलेटेड बाय द पेट्रोलियम एंड नेचुरल गैस रेगुलेटरी बोर्ड। हमारे कंट्री में कौन कौन से करते हैं? रिमेंबर, प्रोडक्शन ऑफ क्रूड ऑयल एंड नेचुरल गैस हमारे यहाँ पर मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ पेट्रोलियम, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ पेट्रोलियम के लिए एक अलग से एक मिनिस्ट्री बनी हुई है। हमारा ये पेट्रोलियम एंड नेचुरल गैस, दिस इज द एंड नेचुरल गैस, इसका काम होता है ये दोनों। उसके बाद रिफाइनिंग मतलब हाँ रिफाइन करती है, ये जो बोर्ड है रिफाइनिंग बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं बट यस, अगर कोई स्टेट पूछे यस और नो में यस इट रिफाइनिंग भी करती है। स्टोरेज, डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ पेट्रोलियम, मार्केटिंग एंड सेल ऑफ पेट्रोलियम प्रोडक्ट, ये सारी जो हैं ये सारे काम पेट्रोलियम एंड नेचुरल गैस रेगुलेटरी बोर्ड हमारे यहाँ पर करती है। दैट मीन्स ओनली 2 of these 4 statements were correct. So this was the last question of this was the last question of environment and ecology, and I hope and I sincerely hope कि आपने ये क्वेश्चन सही किए होंगे। अगर नहीं भी किए तो घबराइए मत, जस्ट वेट। एंड इसके आगे अर्पित सर आपको करेंट अफेयर्स और मिसलेनियस क्वेश्चन आंसर डिस्कस करेंगे। जस्ट वेट फॉर maybe around 5 to 10 seconds. Thank you so much.
Good evening everyone. I hope everyone is in a comfortable position right now. The prelims is over. However, it went. So relax. We are here to give you a bit of, I would say, a headache, as well as, to calm your nerves by discussing this paper. I will be taking up sections, current affairs and miscellaneous, and in which topics related to international relations, internal security, whatever questions came, I will be discussing with respect to that as well. So let's get started with the first question. That is the question number 33. We are covering set B. So just to be very clear with you guys, and I hope you guys are at ease now, because I know prelims takes a lot of toll on you guys, and it happened with us also when we were appearing. But yes, this was the best time after prelims ki chalo ho gaya hai, and after that we sat back. In our times though, we got the answer keys 1 or 2 days later, but now thanks to the technological developments and the timely initiatives taken by Vajirao and Reddy, this time that we are covering the answers to the question. So the first question I'm going to take is question number 33, and this question is related to internal security, and we do it over there as well in our internal security segments, the complete course, and in money laundering and black money chapter we cover this. So the question is, with reference to the government of India, consider the following information. There are 3 organizations given. Some of the functions of these organizations, and this organization works under which ministry, which department, which ministry. Okay. So the first is Directorate of Enforcement. It is also known as Enforcement Directorate, a very common body nowadays. It is quite active, and its job is to enforce the enforcement of the Fugitive Economic Offenders Act 2018. That is very true. Apart from it, it also enforces the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. So till here this is correct, but it works under Internal Security Division of Ministry of Home Affairs? No. It works under Ministry of Finance. This organization formed in 1956, and it is working under Ministry of Finance. So this first is wrong. Second is Directorate of Revenue Intelligence. Its job is to gather intelligence related to, economic transactions happening, smuggling happening. So yes, it enforces the provisions of Customs Act 1962. This is true. And it comes under Department of Revenue, Ministry of Finance. Yes, it comes under Department of Revenue, Ministry of Finance. Actually, under Department of Revenue, there is Central Board of Direct Taxes. So Central Board of Direct Taxes comes under Department of Revenue, and this under Central Board of Direct Taxes comes this Directorate of Revenue Intelligence. And Central Board of Department of Revenue comes under Ministry of Finance. So this option is absolutely correct. The third, Directorate General of Systems and Data Management. It carries out big data analysis, and this helps the tax officers for better policy and nabbing tax evaders. This is where technology is coming into use, and artificial intelligence also is being infused in this nowadays. It comes under Department of Revenue, Ministry of Finance. Yes, and under Department of Revenue there is Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, CBIC. So under CBIC, this Directorate General of Systems and Data Management comes. CBIC is under Department of Revenue, which is under Ministry of Finance. So this option is also correct. So 2 and 3 are correct. So only 2 options are correct. Hence, B is the correct option of this question. That is question number 33. Set B. We are doing set B. Remember this. Now the next question for discussion which I will be picking up is question number 36. This is the question over here. Yes. Consider the following statements. First, India has joined the Mineral Security Partnership as a member. Yes, this happened in 2023. We covered it in our current affairs. India is a resource-rich country in 30 critical minerals that it has identified. So critical minerals are those minerals which are very much essential for the socio-economic development as well as security. So 30 critical minerals like rare earth minerals, nickel, cobalt for EVs, it is necessary, lithium. So these are the list of a few critical minerals which India has identified under the National Critical Mineral Mission. We covered it a few weeks ago only in current affairs class. So we also covered that India is not, self-sufficient in these 30 critical mineral missions, and for that purpose, a PSU has been formed, that is Khanij Videsh India Limited, Kabil. This will go in foreign lands to extract critical minerals, like it is going and exploring in Africa. Why? Because we are not self-sufficient in that. We are currently dependent upon countries like China, especially for rare earth elements, which is defined as one of, or which is categorized as one of the critical minerals. So this second statement, India is a resource-rich country in all the 30 critical minerals that is it has identified. No, we are not. If this all would not have been there and some would have been there, then I would have given it a right. But since it is all, though India is not. Parliament in 2023 has amended Mines and Minerals Development Regulation Act 1957. Yes, and this amendment largely catered to reserving these critical minerals for mining for the government only. So, empowering the central government to exclusively auction mining leases and composite license for certain critical minerals. This statement is right. So 1 and 3 are right, and the option over here will be this 1 and 3 only. Okay. Now the next question for discussion will be question number 41. Yes, this is a question directly from the IR class. The first topic in international relations class we cover is the Cold War era, and in the Cold War era we cover NATO, that is North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and I have specifically said that questions on membership of NATO can come, and here it has come. consider the following countries: Austria, Bulgaria, Croatia, Serbia, Sweden, North Macedonia. Now these countries, out of which you have to find that how many of the above are members of North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So out of these 6 countries, Austria is not and Serbia is not. Baki Bulgaria is a member, Croatia is a member, Sweden is the latest member, Sweden, Finland. North Macedonia also became a member in 2020. So these 4 countries, completely factual question it was. If you knew the membership, that is where you could answer this. So the only 4 countries, that is B option, is going to be the correct option, correct answer over here, and completely factual this was. Now the next question for discussion is question number 50. So this is about the Rashtriya Gokul mission, again taken up in current affairs, also discussed during Yojana analysis. So it is consider the following statements above about the Rashtriya Gokul mission. First statement is, it is important for the upliftment of rural poor as majority of low producing indigenous animals. Indigenous animals means whose genes are completely indigenous, are with small and marginalized farmers and landless laborers. Yes, these low producing indigenous animals, they are with marginalized farmers or landless laborers or landless farmers because these breeds are cheap, very cheap, and at times they are also kind of abandoned, and these poor people, they pick them up, and this creates a source of income for them, although marginal source of income because their productivity is low. Now here comes the Rashtriya Gokul mission, which aims to increasing the productivity of these livestocks. What kind of productivity? Milk productivity, or let's suppose sheep are there, so wool productivity. Whatever economic value these livestock have, that economic value needs to increase. That is one such way of increasing the incomes of the farmers. It was initiated to promote indigenous cattle and buffalo rearing. This is specifically written in this Rashtriya Gokul mission, that indigenous cattle and buffalo rearing we will do, and conservation in a scientific and holistic manner we will be doing. Labs, testing labs will be there, research and development will be promoted. Adequate vaccinations, proactive, I would say, medical treatments, all these are covered under Rashtriya Gokul mission with this one objective, that is to increase the productivity of these livestock, to convert them or transform them from less productive to more productive. That is why here this statement is correct and this is obviously correct. So C is going to be the option, correct option, that is both 1 and 2 over here. Now the next question which we will be taking up is question number 52. Yeah, this is a question which has come from very recent BIMSTEC summit. Although nothing from there is asked, but from the basics of BIMSTEC, I think questions have been asked. So consider the following statements with respect to BIMSTEC. It is a regional organization, very true. Regional organization, it comprises of South Asian and Southeast Asian countries, 5 South Asian and 2 Southeast Asian countries. Consisting of 7 members, yes, this is true, till January 2025, yes. Now also it consists of 7 members. Till January 2025 is given to confuse you. आपको confuse करने के लिए दिया. It came into existence with the signing of Dhaka Declaration? No. Dhaka Declaration से नहीं आया था. It came into signing of the Bangkok Declaration. And that Bangkok Declaration was signed in the year 1997. तो ये दूसरा स्टेटमेंट गलत हो गया. तीसरा स्टेटमेंट, बांग्लादेश, इंडिया, श्रीलंका, थाईलैंड एंड नेपाल आर फाउंडिंग मेंबर्स स्टेट्स ऑफ बिम्स्टेक. नहीं, नेपाल नहीं था. 1997 में इंडिया, श्रीलंका, बांग्लादेश और थाईलैंड ये 4 फाउंडिंग मेंबर्स थे. 1998 में लेटर ऑन म्यांमार ज्वाइंट एंड इन 2004 नेपाल एंड भूटान ज्वाइंट. तो ये स्टेटमेंट भी रॉन्ग हो गया. अब मेरे पास 2 और 3 रॉन्ग है, मैं चाहूं तो एलिमिनेशन यूज करूं, तो ये ऑप्शन गया, ये ऑप्शन गया, ठीक है, बचते हैं सी और डी। इन बिम्स्टेक द सब सेक्टर ऑफ टूरिज्म इज बीइंग लेड बाय इंडिया। तो जो हमारा आईआर का सेगमेंट है उसमें बिम्स्टेक का जो टॉपिक है उसमें क्लियरली मैंने बताया हुआ है कि 14 सब सेक्टर्स हैं और इन 14 सब सेक्टर्स में ये जो कंट्रीज है उन सब सेक्टर्स को लीड करती है। इंडिया के पास टूरिज्म है, टेररिज्म है, ड्रग ट्रैफिकिंग है, इस टाइप से सेक्टर्स इंडिया के पास है। तो टूरिज्म इज अ सब सेक्टर, ये स्टेटमेंट बिल्कुल सही है, विच इज लेड बाय इंडिया। तो करेक्ट ऑप्शन हो गया 1 and 4, दैट इज सी। ठीक है, तो अब नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन 52 के बाद वी आर टेकिंग 55। कंसिडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट्स रिगार्डिंग एआई एक्शन समिट held in Grand Palais, Paris in February 2025. Our Prime Minister Mr. Modi attended this summit because India was the co-host. In this summit, what was declared? That AI को we need to make inclusive, we need to make it affordable and we need to make it sustainable because electricity consumption बहुत होता है in the data centers. यहां पर हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी ने डीप सीक की भी बात करी थी, जो चाइना का ओपन एआई मॉडल है, और उसको कंपेयर किया था ओपन एआई चैट जीपीटी वाले से, जो कि यूएसए का है, क्लोज्ड सोर्स है वो अफोर्डेबल नहीं है अमेरिका वाला, एंड चाइना वाला डीप सीक अफोर्डेबल है, और हमें ऐसे ही मॉडल्स डेवलप करने हैं। और साथ ही साथ हमने ये भी बात करी जो कंसर्न्स रिलेटेड टू एआई है उसको हमें किस तरीके से टैकल करना है। वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट कंसर्न इज जॉब जनरेशन। अब इससे पहले 2 समिट्स हो चुके हैं, एक है ब्लेचली एआई समिट 2023 में हुआ था, उसमें एआई से रिलेटेड जो थ्रेट्स हैं उस पे फोकस किया गया था कि थ्रेट्स को मिनिमाइज करना है। फिर 2024 की स्टार्टिंग में सियोल एआई समिट हुआ था, इससे रिलेटेड भी हमने इन दोनों ब्लेचली और सियोल से रिलेटेड हमने करंट अफेयर्स में करा था, और अब पेरिस एआई जो एआई एक्शन समिट है इससे रिलेटेड भी हमने डिटेल में किया था। सियोल में था कि हमें एआई को कैसे इंक्लूसिव बनाना है। अब ये दोनों ही बातें एआई एक्शन समिट में हुई इस बार, कि कैसे इसको इंक्लूसिव और अफोर्डेबल बनाना है और कैसे इससे रिलेटेड थ्रेट्स जो ब्लेचली डिक्लेरेशन में किए थे उसको टैकल करना है। तो यस, इट वाज अ बिल्ड अप ऑफ दीज 2 प्रायर समिट्स, दैट इज सियोल एआई समिट ऑफ 2024 एंड ब्लेचली डिक्लेरेशन ऑफ 2023। तो अब आते हैं पहले स्टेटमेंट पे। इट वाज को-चेयर्ड विद इंडिया, फ्रांस और इंडिया ने को-चेयर किया था। द इवेंट बिल्ड्स ऑन द एडवांसेस मेड एट ब्लेचली पार्क समिट हेल्ड इन 2023 एंड सियोल समिट हेल्ड इन 2024। यस, ये बिल्कुल सही है, मैंने अभी आपको एक्सप्लेन किया कि कैसे। सेकंड स्टेटमेंट, अलोंग विद अदर कंट्रीज यूएस एंड यूके आल्सो साइंड द डिक्लेरेशन ऑन इंक्लूसिव एंड सस्टेनेबल एआई। यूएस और यूके ने मना कर दिया था क्योंकि यूएस और यूके करते हैं क्लोज्ड सोर्स एआई मॉडल्स पे काम। ये एआई को इतना डिफ्यूज नहीं कराना चाहते क्योंकि इन्होंने एडवांसेस ले लिए हैं एआई टेक्नोलॉजी में, एंड इसलिए इन्होंने साइन नहीं किया था। वेयर एज कंट्रीज लाइक इंडिया विच आर डेवलपिंग, दे वांट दिस टेक्नोलॉजी टू बी अफोर्डेबल, टू बी डिफ्यूज्ड, टू बी इंक्लूसिव। तो ये स्टेटमेंट रॉन्ग है, ये मैंने आपको एआई एक्शन समिट पढ़ाते हुए भी बोला था, ठीक है। एंड ओनली 1 इज करेक्ट ओवर हियर, तो इसका करेक्ट आंसर इज ए। अब नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, ये कंप्लीटली फैक्चुअल है और इसमें बहुत सारे फैक्ट्स याद रखने थे, नो डाउट अबाउट दिस फैक्ट। क्वेश्चन नंबर 56, इंटरनेशनल ईयर ऑफ वुमेन फार्मर 2026 बिल्कुल ये डिक्लेयर्ड है। इंटरनेशनल ईयर ऑफ सस्टेनेबल एंड रेजिलिएंट टूरिज्म 2027 डिक्लेयर्ड है। इंटरनेशनल ईयर ऑफ पीस एंड ट्रस्ट, क्योंकि कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स बहुत ज़्यादा चल रहे हैं आजकल, 2025 डिक्लेयर्ड है। और इंटरनेशनल ईयर ऑफ एस्टेरॉयड अवेयरनेस एंड प्लैनेटरी डिफेंस 2029 डिक्लेयर्ड है। ये सारे फैक्ट्स हैं, अगर आपको पता है आप कर पाओगे, नहीं पता है तो इस टाइप के क्वेश्चंस को अटेम्प्ट नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि इसके ऑप्शंस भी इस तरीके से दिए हुए हैं। आपको ये भी नहीं है कि इफ यू नो 1 और 2 तो यू कैन use the elimination method and do it. No, here only 1, only 2, only 3 or all the 4 are correctly matched. तो इसका correct answer is all the 4 are correctly matched. ठीक है, अब इसके बाद जो अगला क्वेश्चन है that is 57. Again this was dealt with in daily analysis videos on YouTube और current affairs class में। ब्रिक्स समिट कजान में हुआ था अक्टूबर 22 to 24 ये समिट हुआ था एंड 16th ब्रिक्स समिट था ये फैक्ट सही हो गया. Was held under the chairship of Russia and Kazan, ये फैक्ट सही हो गया. तो फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट करेक्ट. इंडोनेशिया हैज बिकम अ फुल मेंबर ऑफ ब्रिक्स, ये 2025 में हुआ है. ठीक है, तो ये स्टेटमेंट भी सही है. द थीम ऑफ द 16th ब्रिक्स समिट वाज स्ट्रेंथनिंग मल्टीकल्चरलिज्म फॉर जस्ट ग्लोबल डेवलपमेंट एंड सिक्योरिटी. हियर इज द कैच, क्योंकि यूपीएससी कई बार ऐसे अवेयरनेस और अलर्टनेस पे आपको टेस्ट करता है. इट इज नॉट मल्टीकल्चरलिज्म, ये पूरा स्टेटमेंट सही है. स्ट्रेंथनिंग मल्टीलेटरलिज्म फॉर जस्ट ग्लोबल डेवलपमेंट एंड सिक्योरिटी. इट इज मल्टीलेटरलिज्म नॉट मल्टीकल्चरलिज्म, और देयर इज अ डिफरेंस बिटवीन मल्टीलेटरलिज्म एंड मल्टीकल्चरलिज्म. ठीक है, तो ये स्टेटमेंट मल्टीकल्चरलिज्म की वजह से गलत है. एंड हेंस द करेक्ट ऑप्शन इज 1 and 2, दैट इज द ए ऑप्शन इज द राइट आंसर फॉर दिस. एक छोटी सी अलर्टनेस, मतलब एक छोटी सी मिस्टेक, इफ यू आर फ्री फ्लोइंग, आपने पढ़ा अच्छा यही था, हाँ मल्टी या जस्ट ग्लोबल डेवलपमेंट आपने कहीं पढ़ा होगा तो आपको रिकॉल हो गया होगा, तो बट ये मल्टीकल्चरलिज्म वर्ड अगर आपने ध्यान नहीं दिया होगा तो ये गलत हो गया होगा. ठीक है, अब 57 के बाद नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन फॉर डिस्कशन इज 59. हाँ, तो ये रहा. अगेन स्पोर्ट्स से इस बार 2 क्वेश्चन आ गए. ठीक है, उम्मीद तो थी क्योंकि जब से यूपीएससी ने स्पोर्ट्स पे क्वेश्चन पूछे हैं 2023 में, हमें इस सेक्शन को इग्नोर नहीं करना चाहिए. ठीक है, पिछले साल नहीं आए इसका मतलब ही नहीं है कि नहीं आएंगे. ठीक है, दिस इज हाउ यूपीएससी थ्रोज बाउंसर्स एट यू. फैक्चुअल क्वेश्चन था, बट किस लेवल के फैक्ट्स आपको याद होने चाहिए थे वो एक देखने वाली चीज है इसमें. कंसिडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट्स इन रिस्पेक्ट ऑफ फर्स्ट खोखो वर्ल्ड कप. द इवेंट वॉज हेल्ड इन दिल्ली, इंडिया. बिल्कुल सही है, दिस स्टेटमेंट इज देयर करेक्ट. द फर्स्ट एवर वर्ल्ड कप इट वाज एंड इंडिया वन दैट. सेकेंड स्टेटमेंट, इंडियन मेन बीट नेपाल विद अ स्कोर ऑफ 78-40 इन द फाइनल टू बिकम द वर्ल्ड चैंपियन इन मेन कैटेगरी. इंडिया जीती, बट आपको इस स्टेटमेंट में यू नीड टू ऑल्सो नो कि व्हाट वाज द स्कोर. स्कोर 78-40 यहां पर लिखा हुआ, बट इंडियन मेन वन बाय 54-36 और इंडियन वुमेन भी जीती फर्स्ट एवर खोखो वर्ल्ड कप. जो इंडियन वुमेन जीती उनका स्कोर ये था 78-40, which makes both these statements wrong, and hence only one is the correct option over here. A is the correct option 1. इस लेवल के फैक्ट्स यू हैड टू रिमेंबर. अगर पता हो, याद हो तो आप कर लोगे, बट इफ यू आर बैंकिंग अपॉन दिस कि इंडियन मेन जीते, इंडियन वुमेन जीती और आपने तीनों पे टिक मार दिया, तो आई एम सॉरी, दैट इज गोइंग टू बी द रॉन्ग. देन नेक्स्ट इज क्वेश्चन नंबर 60, अगेन अ स्पोर्ट्स बेस्ड क्वेश्चन. अभी जो क्वेश्चन नंबर 60 है, इसमें पहला स्टेटमेंट, इन द फाइनल्स ऑफ द 45th चेस ओलंपियाड held in 2024, Gukesh Domaraju became the world's youngest winner after defeating Russian player Ian Nepomniachtchi. अब Gukesh Domaraju became the world's youngest winner. यहां तक ये स्टेटमेंट सही है, but he defeated a player of Azerbaijan, Aydin Suleimani. Aydin Suleimani of Azerbaijan. So this portion of the statement is wrong, which makes the complete statement wrong. Second statement, Abhimanyu Mishra, an American chess player, holds the record for becoming the world's youngest ever grandmaster. This statement is absolutely right. Again, a fact-based question where you needed facts to be very, very accurate. So B is going to be the correct option over here. That is only 2. Okay. So this is there. The next question is question number 64. So let's go to this. This question again from IR. We cover it. In every country I do the defense significance. And with Maldives, I covered Dornier 228 aircraft which India stationed in Maldives from 2018 till 2023 period. And it is a multi-purpose aircraft, but yes, one of the purposes is maritime patrol. तो यहां पर क्या लिखा है, मैरीटाइम पेट्रोल एयरक्राफ्ट. यस, दिस फर्स्ट पेयर इज करेक्टली मैच्ड. ठीक है. देन नेक्स्ट इज IL-76. IL स्टैंड्स फॉर इल्यूशन, एंड इल्यूशन इज को डेवलप्ड बाय इंडिया एंड रशिया. जब हमने इंडिया रशिया रिलेशन करा तो डिफेंस सिग्निफिकेंस में देखा हमने को डेवलपमेंट एंड परचेजेस फ्रॉम रशिया. तो को डेवलपमेंट में वन वाज इल्यूशन. इट इज अ मिलिट्री ट्रांसपोर्ट एयरक्राफ्ट. इट इज नॉट अ सुपरसोनिक कॉम्बैट एयरक्राफ्ट. नो, दिस इज रॉन्ग. It is an aeroplane which carries logistics and military supplies for the military people who are located at or posted at higher altitudes. Third is C-17 Globemaster 3. We've taken it from USA, purchased it from USA, and India is the only country apart from USA who is using a Globemaster. And Indian Air Force uses this extensively because it is huge in size and it is efficient in transportation as well. So military transport aircraft, this statement is right. So C-17 Globemaster 3 and IL-76 both are military transport aircrafts, but this supersonic combat aircraft in front of IL-76 makes this option wrong. So 1 and 3 are correct. How many of the pairs given are correctly matched? So only 2, that is B is going to be the correct option over here in this case. Okay. So this is question number 64. Now I come to the next question, that is 65. Very direct question it is, and we covered this in January or February current affairs. Artificial rain, and because the Delhi government was thinking about doing an MOU with IIT Delhi with respect to this, and now things are progressing as well in this direction. So artificial rain, or artificial way of causing rainfall to reduce air pollution, makes use of very simple factual silver iodide and potassium iodide. Apart from it, dry ice is also used. So in our notes I explicitly mentioned these 3 things, that these can be used for causing artificial rain. So A is the correct option over here. Now after this, the next question is 65. Oh sorry, 65 तो हो गया. The next question is 70. Which organization has enacted the nature restoration law to tackle climate change and biodiversity loss? So this has been enacted by the European Union. The target is that by 2030, 20% of restoration of degraded land has to happen. By 2050, all the degraded land has to be restored. This is a binding agreement has been signed for doing that. All the 27 countries of European Union will be focusing on restoring the degraded land. This is going to be a game changer in terms of halting desertification in European Union. Okay. Again, it was a factual question. If you would know, then you would have answered this. After 70, we come to the next question, that is 72. India is one of the founding members of International North-South Trade Transport Corridor. Yes, India, Iran and Russia in the year 2000 signed a trilateral agreement with respect to this. It is a multimodal transport corridor, that is also true. Okay? Because from India till Iran, we go by sea. In Iran, there is this port Bandar Abbas where this transport corridor goes, and from there over the land connectivity route via Azerbaijan into Central Asia and then to St. Petersburg, which is there on the western side of Russia. That part lies in Europe, because left of or west of Ural mountains is considered as Europe. Now this can be, this question is kind of in itself questionable, the answer of this question, but yes, as per my understanding, see, option number B, India to Central Asia via China, this is ruled out. India to Southeast Asia through Bangladesh and Myanmar, this is ruled out. Remaining are option number A and D. Now India to Central Asia to Europe via Iran, that is very true. India to Central Asia, Azerbaijan is also part of Central Asia, Apart from it, it is reaching in the stans also. It is one arm is now reaching into that region, Turkey, and from there to Europe, and from Central Asia it again converges into Russia, St. Petersburg. So this option, if I would have been attempting, I would have marked this option. But D also is confusing, India to Europe through Azerbaijan. But if I see the scope of INSTC today, it is not only going via Azerbaijan, it is going via Kazakhstan also, it is going via other stans also, and then reaching Russia. And all these stans are part of Central Asia. That is why India to Central Asia to Europe via Iran, this option is the most likely option of this particular question. Okay. So this is there. Next is question number 74. The World Bank warned that India could become one of the first places where wet bulb temperatures routinely exceed 35 degrees Celsius. Wet bulb temperatures are those temperatures which are obtained after evaporation of a wet cloth which is there put on the bulb of a temperature. In short, if the wet bulb temperatures are high and they are near to the dry bulb temperatures are normal temperatures which a thermometer measures, it simply means that the moisture content in the atmosphere is high. Now this high in moisture content in the atmosphere, what can it lead to? It can lead to flooding, it can lead to tropical cyclones, and it can lead to droughts as well, because evaporation will keep on happening. So this is right, but some concerns can come with respect to droughts. But everywhere on the internet, droughts can be caused by rising wet bulb temperatures. Next statement, survival of animals including humans will be affected as shedding of their body heat through precipitation, though precipitation becomes difficult. Yes, this happens because moisture content is high in the atmosphere, and it is the human tendency, the human body tendency to regulate the temperature by sweating. In case of high moisture content in the atmosphere, sweating will not happen. The heat will remain inside the body, and that is also a major cause of heat strokes among humans. I clearly remember during last year election campaigning time in Maharashtra, a campaign was going on and 2 or 3 people died due to heat strokes, and they were exposed to the atmosphere, and this was considered that high wet bulb temperature has caused their death. So this statement is also true. So both 1 and 2 are going to be the option over here. Okay. Now after 74, the next question is 76. Which of the following statements with regard to recommendations of the 15th Finance Commission of India are correct? Now see, a lot of figures over here, 4,800 crores from the year 2023 to the year 2025-26 for incentivizing states to enhance educational outcomes. You might not remember this. Very difficult to remember or recall. Second statement over here, 45,000 crores are to be kept as performance-based incentives for all states for carrying out agricultural reforms. This is there. And fourth statement, it reintroduced tax efforts criteria to reward fiscal performance. This is there. And the second statement is 45% of the net proceeds of union taxes are to be shared with the states. This is a fact which has to be remembered because the Finance Commission, it is a constitutional body, devolves taxes from center to the states. But how much percent? Every Finance Commission decides. So the 15th Finance Commission has decided 41%, not 45%. This is a fact you should have remembered. And if you would have remembered this fact, then it would be easy for you to solve this question because statement 2 is wrong. So, here elimination method can be used. 2 is here, 2 is here, and 2 is here. In 3 options, if there is 2, so both these 3 options or all these 3 options are wrong, and the correct option stands at C, that is 1, 3, and 4. Elimination method can lead to the answer of this particular question. And now the last, question which I'm going to take is question number 79. Consider the following countries: UAE, France, Germany, Singapore and Bangladesh. Question is, how many countries amongst the above are there other than India where international merchant payments are accepted under UPI? UPI is extending our digital public infrastructure. So in the recent years, UAE has started accepting, France has started accepting. AI Action Summit के बाद bilateral meeting was there, तो वहाँ पर ये decide हुआ था. And Singapore has started accepting because in 2024 our Prime Minister visited Singapore. There it was decided. तो 1, 2 और ये 3. जर्मनी नहीं है, बांग्लादेश नहीं है. ठीक है. So only 3 is going to be the correct option, that is B. ठीक है. So this is it from my end. I hope you guys have got a good insight about these options or the solutions. Now I will be handing over the mic to Mr. L.S. Mishra, and sir will be talking about the economics questions which have been asked, a very important segment. Just wait for 5 or 10 seconds and he'll be taking over from me, and see you guys at the other end. All the best. Those guys who are scoring above 100, start preparing for mains. That is what I can say at the end. Okay. Namaste. Jai Hind.
जल्दी आओ यार. चलो बंद करो इसको, ये ठीक करो, ऑन है कि नहीं चेक करो. सही. जी बस होने वाला. Start. साउंड से स्टार्ट कर दें. Hi friends, I am L.S. Mishra. I am faculty of economy, and as you know, today UPSC Prelims exam was held, and we are going to discuss and continue to be discuss the Prelims question paper first, and I am discussing with the economy. Okay, as you know, the weightage of economy as of today's paper is concerned around 20%. So out of 100,
20 questions have been asked on economy, and out of the 20 question, out of 20 question, around 6 question based on current affairs, and remaining 14 questions are conceptuals. And what I have seen in the question paper, out of 14 question papers which are conceptual, majority of them have been already discussed in the class. So let us start and try to see. We are discussing and following the booklet number B. So in B series of booklet, economy question starts from 31. So let us come on 31. Yes. Question number 31. With reference to investments, consider the following. With reference to investments, consider the following. Number 1, bonds. Number 2, hedge funds. Number 3, stocks. Number 4, venture capital fund. How many of the above are treated as alternative investment funds? In fact, this is the actual term that we need to understand, alternative investment funds. These are the funds which are different kind of funds which prefer to invest in non-traditional assets. Non-traditional asset means, जैसे यूजुअली हम लोग क्या होता है कि शेयर्स में, बॉन्ड्स में, किसी को कैपिटल मार्केट में, इनफैक्ट दिस क्वेश्चन बेस्ड अपॉन द करंट ऑन द कैपिटल मार्केट. When we study in the class the financial system, we divide financial system in 2 parts, money market and capital markets. So this question, usually very few questions based upon the capital markets, but there has been the questions. This one is one question from the capital market. Alternative investment funds, as I told you, that prefers to invest in non-traditional assets. तो ट्रेडिशनल एसेट्स क्या हुए? जैसे शेयर्स हुआ. हम यूजुअली जो कॉमन मैन होते हैं शेयर्स में पैसे लगा देते हैं, कैपिटल मार्केट में इन्वेस्ट करना होता, किसी कंपनी के बॉन्ड्स को खरीद लेते होते हैं. लेकिन जो अल्टरनेटिव इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड्स होते हैं, ये शेयर्स में या बॉन्ड्स में इन्वेस्टमेंट ना करके किसी दूसरे एसेट क्लास में करते हैं जो हाई पोटेंशियल होता है, वेयर देयर आर हाई रिस्क एंड हाई रिटर्न्स potentials are there, like hedge funds. So hedge fund is one of the alternative fund. Alternate investment fund, venture capital fund. Venture capital funds are a kind of a startup capital provided to the new startups, or the new entrepreneurs for a long term view. So in the given options of first, second, third and fourth, only hedge funds and venture capital funds are considered and falling under alternative investment funds. So wherever second and fourth will be there will be the answer. And that's why the style this time, the UPSC have changed their style asking the question. This is happening from the last 1 year. So this is being continued even now. So only 2. So in my opinion, only 2 is the correct answer, because only 2 options are correct. Okay. So it's a conceptual question, usually discussed in the class, and usually as far as these alternative investment funds are concerned, even day before yesterday it was appearing in the newspapers. So it's also indication for you, if you are studying newspapers regularly, you will get a lot. Question number 32. Which were the following sources of income for the Reserve Bank of India? Obviously a conceptual question. Those who study economy, those who prepare for UPSC under the financial system, they are bound to study the Reserve Bank of India. Once we discuss the functions of Reserve Bank of India, we will get that. Just consider all these five statements. Buying and selling of government bonds, buying and selling foreign currency. Once again repeat the question, which one of the following are the source of income for the Reserve Bank? From where Reserve Banks are getting certain money as an income. Even there was a paper, there was a news day before yesterday that Reserve Bank decided to extend a handsome dividend or profit from their own side to the government, more than 2 lakh crore. So these are the incomes of the Reserve Bank, have we shared with the government. Buying and selling, obviously government will getting certain benefits. Buying and selling of foreign currency, there are certain margin and get certain, the RBI impose certain charges, so they get the benefit. Number third, pension fund management, no. There is a PFRDA, Provident Fund Regulatory Development Authority. So pension funds are not managed by RBI. Lending to private companies. Everyone knows that. It's not the function of RBI to finance the private companies. There are many other sources and institutions in the country like the commercial banks and many other organizations that extend loan, long-term loan to the private companies. So it won't be falling under RBI. Fifth, printing and distributing currency notes. It's very important. Printing and distributing currency notes. Suppose if RBI is printing a 500 rupee currency notes, if the cost is rupees 1 only, so 499 is the profit of RBI. This is called signories. So this is also one of the source of income for the RBI. So obviously number 1, number 2 and number 4. Wherever all these 3 statements should be there will be the answer. In this way, we can have that D is the correct answer. So it's quite easy to decide. Come on the another part. Consider the following statements. The Reserve Bank of India, this is, yes, 1 minute. Rather than 33, it's much better to consider 1 minute. Okay, this question has been already discussed. This question has been already discussed with the current affairs 33. Okay, so it won't be falling under my part. Come on 34, yes. Consider the following statements. There are 2 statements here. The Reserve Bank of India mandates, mind all this point, mandates, mean order, all the listed companies in India to submit a business responsibility and sustainability report. No. Ministry of Corporate Affairs. This is the function of Ministry of Corporate Affairs. So it's no longer falling under RBI. So statement 1 is incorrect. In India, a company submitting a BRSR makes disclosure in the report that are largely non-financial in nature. There are 2 types of organizations, financial and non-financial. So whenever any non-financial organization going to start the business, they will have to disclose under this document. So statement 2 is correct. Now try to decide the answer. Which one of the statements given above are correct? So only 2nd is correct. So answer is B. I think easy to decide. Come on the next. Next question is after 34, 35, and 37, 38, 35. Just consider 35. Question number 35. Consider the following statements. Statement 1. In India, income from allied agricultural activities like poultry, farming and wool rearing in rural areas are exempted from any tax. Mind on this term. Any tax. You must know that there is a provision of agricultural income tax which is not being imposed by any government in the country. So these activities are falling under the allied activities of agriculture sector, but these are not exempted from the agricultural income tax. So the term, they have used the term any tax, it won't be correct. Okay. So in this way, statement 1 is not looking correct. Statement 2. In India, rural agricultural land is not considered a capital asset under the provision of the Income Tax Act 1961. It's a factual matter. It's a matter of act. Once you go through the provisions of the Income Tax Act 1961, you will get the same information. Because agricultural land is not considered as capital asset. So statement 2 is correct. In this way, the 35 question answer is, just let us consider, statement 1 is not correct, obviously not correct, but statement 2 is correct. So answer stands number 1. Just try to understand again. Both statements 1 and 2 are correct, and statement 2 explains statement 1. Both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct, but statement 2 doesn't explain statement. Useless for us. The statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is not correct. No. So finally, we decide that statement 1 is not correct, and statement 2 is correct, and that's why answer stands D. Okay. Come on the next question number 37 and 38. Question number 37. Consider the following statements. Statement 1. As regards returns from an investment in a company, generally bondholders are considered to be relatively at lower risk than stockholders. Let us read all this. Statement 2. Bondholders are lenders to a company, whereas stockholders are its owners. Statement 3. For repayment purpose, bondholders are prioritized over stockholders by a company. Statement 1. Once again, tries to read. As regard, let us difference. If you are in position to distinguish between bonds and shares, what we usually discuss in the class in detail, in this question that information has been used. You must remember that bondholders are a kind of lenders. For example, suppose I am a company and I am issuing bond, and those who are purchasing my bond, it means they are giving loan to me, and it's a loan to me. And those who are purchasing shares of my company, they are owner in my company. So that makes the basic difference. In case of all bonds, and majority of because there are different kinds of bonds, but usually in the normal bonds, there is a pre-decided rate of interest provided by the companies to the bondholders. But it doesn't happen in the case of stocks, that is shares. Because shareholders are owners in the company. Owners get dividend. Once the company will get profit, some portion of that profit is shared by the companies with the shareholders. But it is not mandatory. It is up to the company. If the company will get loss, they will not get anything to the shareholders. Shareholders won't get anything. But it doesn't happen in the case of bondholders. Bondholders are lenders. They are creditors to the company. So that's why there is no risk in case of bond. Because company is liable to pay the interest and the principal as per the rules and regulations to the bondholders. Let us consider once again. It's quite easy to decide the answer. Statement 1 is correct. Bondholders are lenders. I have already told you, to a company, whereas stockholders are the owners. I have already told you. Third, for repayment purpose, bondholders are prioritized because they are lender. So obviously they will be prioritized over stockholders by a company. Let us consider the ambit of this question entire. It's a long question. Which is correct in respect of the above statement? Both statements second and third are correct, and both of them explain statement 1. Question number option B, both statement first and second are correct and statement 1 explains statement second. Only one of the statement second and third is correct, and that explains statement 1. Neither statement second nor statement third is incorrect. No. When we see all these statements, it clearly indicates that option number 1 is the correct answer. Why? Because both statement second and third, these are part of the first. So statement 1 is the main statement, and statement second and third are based upon 1, and that's why both statement second and third are explaining statement 1. So whatever I explained, it's quite easy to decide the answer. Okay. Come on, my next question is 38. Come on, 38. Consider the following statements. Number 1, India accounts for a very large portion of all equity option contracts traded globally, thus exhibiting a great boom. Second, India's stock market has grown rapidly in the recent past, even overtaking Hong Kong's at some point of time. Third, there is no regulatory body, mind on this term, there is no regulatory body either to warn the small investors about the risks of options trading or to act on unregistered financial advisors in this regard. Those who are going through regular newspaper, those who are watching news channels or TV news channels, there are certain channels every day and the whole day they are talking about the capital market and the share market. And I've seen that on every channels after certain interval, there is a statement and warning shared by the SEBI, the market regulator. We know that as RBI regulates the banks in the country, SEBI regulates the capital market. So this question also based upon capital market. SEBI is the regulator. So prima facie, this line, there is no regulatory body. Why? It's incorrect. There is a body. There is a body, SEBI. SEBI regulates. So statement third is outrightly incorrect. The entire statement is incorrect. Okay. So it means that wherever third is there, won't be the answer. So to save the time in the examination hall, it's much better to use the elimination method. Third is here, third is in C, third is in D. It means wherever third is there, there is no answer. So we are bound to go with A, and that's why A is the correct answer. It means statement first and second are correct, and this is correct also when we see the past developments with respect to the Indian capital market. So it's a news based question, if we can say. Equity options, these are the way of sale and purchase. This is called derivative markets. Options F and O, future and options. Okay, so these have been high. India's stock market has grown rapidly in the recent past, is overtaking. So on the basis of these facts, as well as the strategy we use to decide the answer, once we clear that the statement third is incorrect, and out of 4 options, in 3 options the statement third is there, it means in all the cases from all the sides, option A is the correct answer, and that's why statement first and second only are the correct answer. So somewhere I have seen this in the examination, only too much knowledge is not required. Reading newspaper is inevitable. So on the basis of those information, using the elimination method, it's quite easy. We can decide within a fraction of a second. Okay. My next question is, after 38 is 39 and 40. Come on, 39 and 40. Question number 39. Let us read the question. Consider the following statements. Statement number 1. Circular economy reduces the emissions of greenhouse gases. Circular economy reduces the emission of greenhouse gases. Statement second. Circular economy reduces the use of raw materials as inputs. Statement third. Circular economy reduces wastage in the production process. Here the circular economy means the entire cycle of production which takes place in any economy. So it's a general question, 100% conceptual question, but the way they have put up the question, that have made it a tough question. Tough question means vague question, you can say. And let us complete the answer, and thereafter we can conclude it properly. 1 minute I would like to say, prima facie, all these 3 statements are correct. Undoubtedly, all these 3 statements are correct. But we need to decide the answer having seen the options. When one of the following is correct, which one of the following is correct in respect of the above statement? A. Both statement second and statement third are correct, and both of them explains statement 1. Prima facie, this statement, the option A is looking correct. But let us consider other. B. Both statement second and statement third are correct, but only one means either second or third. One of them explains statement 1. Only one of the statement second and third is correct and explains. Okay. Neither statement second nor statement third is incorrect. As far as the answer is concerned, D won't be the answer. C won't be the answer. So answer exists in between A and B. In A, both statements second and third are correct, and both of them explain A. Let us check. In B, both statements second and statement third are correct, but only one of them explains statement 1. Let us see. Circular economy reduces the emissions of greenhouse gases. Correct. Is it connected with the circular economy reduces the use raw materials as inputs? Raw materials are different. These are the initial stage of production. When the raw materials get into the production stage, there is no chance of emission. Second, circular economy reduces wastages in the production process. Everyone knows that. This is established fact that wastages may emit the greenhouse gases. The circular economy reduces the emissions of greenhouse gases. So once the wastage will be reduced, obviously the emission of greenhouse gas will be reduced. So statement third is clearly connected to the statement 1 and explains statement 1. But this is not happening in the same way in the case of statement second, because this is the starting point when the raw materials get into the production process. So in my opinion, though I finally leave the answer up to UPSC, this happens sometimes. What happened in the last examination, 3 questions were removed. So it is finally up to the UPSC examiner to decide the correct answer, but it must be from A and B. But in my opinion, I am 100% sure that statement B is correct, because statement C is 100% explaining the one, but it does mean that the statement second is also explaining the one. So there is no direct link with the statement first and second. So in my opinion, both statements second and third are correct, but only one explains a statement. So in my opinion, as per the discussion, what I understand, B is the correct answer of 39. But finally, once again I am repeating, finally it goes to the UPSC examiner. What they decide, that could be the final answer. After this was 39, come on 40. Question number 40. Let us read the question. Consider the following statements. There are 3 statements. Number 1, capital receipts create a liability or cause a reduction in the assets of the government. Capital, there are 2. This is question from the fiscal system, where the government budgeting taxation are discussed. So this is from them. Capital receipts are those receipts on which usually governments are not trying to rely over them. मतलब ये गवर्नमेंट के रेगुलर इनकम का स्रोत नहीं होता है, न गवर्नमेंट इस पे बहुत ज़्यादा निर्भर रहना चाहती है. जैसे जब भी गवर्नमेंट लोन लेती है तो वो कैपिटल रिसीट होता है. डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट करती है, यानी कंपनियों के, सरकारी कंपनियों के शेयर जब बेचती है तो उसको डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट बोलते हैं. तो ये भी एक अच्छा रेगुलर तरीका नहीं है कि गवर्नमेंट अपने एसेट्स को डाइल्यूट करके और शेयर्स को बेच कर पैसा इकट्ठा करे. सो capital receipts are usually, it's a kind of liability over the government. Not in all cases, but borrowing is one of the important segments of capital receipts, and whenever any government will borrow, obviously there will be a liability over the government and they will have to pay it back with interest. So statement 1, capital receipts create a liability or cause a reduction in the assets of the government. So statement 1 is looking correct in my opinion. Second, borrowings and disinvestments are capital. Just now I gave the example. So statement second is also looking correct. Statement third, interest received on loans create a liability of the government. Statement third is important here. Statement third speaks that when government will extend loan to someone, obviously government will take interest, creates a liability to the government. What kind of liability? It's a kind of profit for the government, it's a kind of income for the government, government has extended loan, and on behalf of that loan, they are receiving certain interest. But in the statement, creates a liability. It won't be a liability. So statement third is incorrect. Statement third is incorrect. Statement one is correct. Second is correct. So wherever one and first and second statement would be there will be the answer, and this is happening with the A. So A is the correct answer. Okay, and it's an easy question. Those who understand the budgetary process of the government and the related issues, it's quite easy to decide it. So it's not a tough question. Okay, after 40, the next segment of economy question starts from 71, then 75. Let us come on 71. देखिए, यूपीएससी के पेपर ना इजी होता है ना टफ होता है. ये सब कुछ डिपेंड करता है कि हम कैसे हैं. यूपीएससी पेपर्स नेवर इजी, नेवर टफ. व्हाट इज माय ओपिनियन? द होल थिंग डिपेंड्स हाउ मच स्ट्रोंगर वी आर. तो यदि हमने अपनी स्टडी को ऑनेस्टली और थ्रू एक सिस्टमेटिक तरीके से किया है, जो भी गाइडलाइंस दी जाती है क्लास वगैरह में, यदि उसको आप फॉलो करते हैं, सो ऑब्वियसली यू विल गेट बेनिफिटेड. तो पेपर यूपीएससी का ना कभी टफ होता है ना इजी होता है. ये सब कुछ डिपेंड करता है कि हम कितने स्ट्रांग हैं. और हमने अपनी तैयारी कितनी अच्छी तरीके से की है. अब आइए जैसे इस क्वेश्चन को देखिए. '71, very interesting question. Usually in class I say that mathematical questions are not expected, but in fact it's not a mathematics. Wherever there are certain formula, it is up to the examiner to make it the question applied. So rather than asking the direct question and direct formula, they give certain figures. If you know the formula, you can decide the answer. That is what exactly happening here. Suppose the revenue expenditure is 80,000 crores and the revenue receipts of the government are 60,000 crores. The government budget also shows borrowing of 10,000 crores and interest payments of 6,000 crore. Which of the following statements are correct? First come on the first line. 80 crores revenue expenditure is 80 crore and revenue receipts are 60 crore. And they are talking about, the first statement is revenue deficit. Always and usually, we discuss in the class, there are 4 types of deficits are reflected in government's annual budget. And the first one is revenue deficit. Second one is effective revenue deficit. Third one is fiscal deficit, and fourth one is primary deficit. And all these deficit based on certain formula. And we usually speak to the students to remember all these formula. So examiner have used the formula to make the question. A revenue deficit is equal to revenue expenditure minus revenue receipts. Revenue expenditure are 80,000 crore. Revenue receipts are 60,000 crore. So what the result? 20,000 crore. So revenue deficit is 20,000 crore. It's correct. revenue deficit is equal to revenue expenditure minus revenue receipts, and these are the figures already given there. Fine. Fiscal deficit. Everyone knows that out of these 4 deficit of the central government, fiscal deficit is the largest. And there are 2 basic equations of the fiscal deficit. Fiscal deficit is equal to total expenditure minus total receipt. Total expenditure minus total receipt, except borrowing. So total receipt may be written as non-debt receipt. Debts are not the earning, loans are not the earning. That's why these are excluded. Once again, it is equal to public debts and other liabilities. Public debts and other liabilities means borrowing by the government. Since 97, the mechanism of financing of deficit, fiscal deficit, has been changed. I'm not going into too much detail. So whatever the fiscal deficit of the government, that is financed by the loan. Loan is taken by government with the help of RBI from the economy, and the entire fiscal deficit is equal to borrowings. And that's why here also shows borrowing of 10,000 crore. It means this 10,000 crore is fiscal deficit. Mind know this point. Fiscal deficit is directly equal to public debts and other liabilities, which means borrowing by the government. So whatever government is borrowing to finance the deficit, that is equal to fiscal deficit, and the fiscal deficit is 10,000 crore. They have already fiscal deficit is 10,000 crore. So statement second is correct. Primary deficit. Once we discuss in the class, primary deficit is equal to fiscal deficit minus interest payment. Interest payment. So fiscal deficit is 10,000 crore. Fiscal deficit is 10,000 crore minus fiscal deficit is 10,000 crore and interest payment is 6,000 crore. So obviously primary deficit would be equal to 4,000 crore. So this is also correct. So all these 3 statements are correct. So obviously first, second and third, D is the correct answer. D is the correct answer of question number 71. Question number 71, D is the correct answer. Easy to understand. Those who remember this formula, why it is easy to calculate within fraction of second, they can decide the answer. After question number 71, 75. Come on, 75. Remaining questions are current affairs, so already discussed. Question number 75 looks very similar to the previous question. A country's fiscal deficit stands 50,000 crore. It is receiving 10,000 crore through non-debt creating capital receipts. The country's interest liability are 1,500 crores. What is the gross primary deficit? Gross primary deficit. Just now I discussed the formula of the primary deficit. Once again, let me clarify. Primary deficit is equal to fiscal deficit minus interest payment. What is fiscal deficit in the given example? 50,000 crore minus what is the interest? Interest liability are this one. 1,500 crore is the interest liability, and this 54 fiscal deficit is 50,000 crore. So minus 1,500, obviously 48,500 crore. So answer is given. I have already told you this is also based upon the formula. Those who remember the formula, they can easily decide. So answer of 75, question number 75 is A, and undoubtedly A is the correct answer. Okay, after 75, 77 and 78. Seventy-seven. Consider the following statement in respect of the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. We always discuss under the foreign sector, the leading international organizations. And you must know that they are talking about the World Bank. World Bank, in fact, is a group of 5 organizations, and IBRD is one of them. If I go into detail, those who have already discussed about the Bretton Woods Conference that was held in 1944 during the Second World War. This IBRD, International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, was created. And this question is based upon this one. It provides loan. 1 minute. It provides loan and guarantees to middle income country. That's correct. That's correct, undoubtedly. Second, it works single-handedly to help developing countries to reduce poverty. To reduce poverty, that's correct, undoubtedly. But not single-handedly. There are many other organizations, they work together for this purpose. That's why the using the term single-handedly is not correct. So that's why on the basis of this statement, second is not correct. Third, it was established to help Europe rebuild after the World War II. It's quite easy if you mind on the name of this bank. International Bank for Reconstruction. Reconstruction of whom? During the Second World War, many European countries were completely destroyed. You can just compare what is happening in the case of Russia and Ukraine. Blindly they are running, they are fighting. And if you go through the newspaper, you would have studied that. The economy of Ukraine is badly disturbed, drastically disturbed. The same happened that time when the Second World War was going on. So as the name is also suggesting, reconstruction and development. Reconstruct those countries, destroyed themselves and then developed them. So second statement third is correct. So wherever first and third is there, that would be the answer. And in this way, question number 77, first and third, the C stands the correct answer. Okay, so easy to understand, quite easy to decide the answer. Though economy as a subject prima facie looks like very tough, and that's why people do not take too much interest and they got afraid, and that's why they lost a lot. But in my opinion, it's not a very tough thing. Once you have the interest, once your basics are clear, and if you are reading the daily newspaper, you can beat both the prelims and mains examination. It's not surprising, this has been already proved. Common 78, this is the last question. Because remaining question has been already discussed with the current affairs. Question number 78. Consider the following statements in respect of RTGS and NEFT. The term RTGS and NEFT are quite familiar to everyone nowadays. RTGS means real-time gross settlement and NEFT means National Electronic Fund Transfer. There is a government organization, NPCIL, National Payment Corporation of India Limited, and they are doing very well, and they have developed and still developing various methods and mechanisms to facilitate the transactions through the electronic modes. This is one of them. In case of RTGS, real time transaction is clear. In bulk, and the big transactions are usually transferred through the RTGS. In NEFT, small transactions below 2 lakh usually. So the entire statement is based upon the RTGS and NEFT. And the interesting thing is that this kind of transactions are available nowadays on the fingertip. Using the mobile, if you are having a bank account and an app of any application of any bank, you can use it through your mobile, using your mobile. Read the statement to decide the answer. Statement 1. In RTGS, the settlement time is instantaneous, while in the case of NEFT, it takes some time to settle the payment. That's correct. This statement is correct. RTGS, instant payment is possible. No delay. But in case of NEFT, there are certain bunches. There is payment are usually made at an interval of half an hour. Okay, so that statement looks correct, undoubtedly. Statement number 2, come on the other side. Then we can decide the answer. Statement 2. In RTGS, the customer is charged for inward transactions, while that is not the case of NEFT. That's also correct. There are certain charges in case of RTGS because the transactions are large. So if there is a inward, they have used the term charge inward transactions. It is chargeable, you will have to remember. But it doesn't happen in case of NEFT. If there is an inward NEFT transactions, it is free of charge. It means the statement 2 is also correct. 3, operating hours for RTGS are restricted on certain days, while this is not true for NEFT. There is a bit confusion with respect to the statement 3, because what I know, in case of RTGS, nowadays it is available 24/7. RTGS facility is available 24/7. So the number of days doesn't matter. And their operating hours for RTGS are restricted for certain days. So obviously it's incorrect. So statement 3 is not correct. Okay, so statement 1 and 2 is correct. So wherever 1 and 2 will be there, it means B is the correct answer. Okay, so these were 14 questions. And all these 14 questions of economy, fortunately based upon the concepts and which are usually discussed in all the classes. So those who have followed the class properly, those who have practiced the question papers, those who studied newspaper on regular basis, be sure that they would have been corrected more than 15 questions out of the 20 in economy. Okay? You should not forget that you are appearing in the India's most prestigious examination. As it is a challenge for us to crack the exam, it's a challenge for UPSC that how to segregate the calibrated people through this process. So obviously questions are, I have already told you, UPSC questions are never easy, never tough. It depends upon us, the way we handle and the way we study it. How much stronger we are, that matters rather than the question papers. Whatever the question paper is there, those who are going to be finally selected, they will appear in the same question paper. तो क्वेश्चन पेपर तो सबके लिए कॉमन होता है, एक ही क्वेश्चन पेपर होता है. तो ये डिपेंड करता है कि हम कितने स्ट्रांग हैं, हमने अपनी तैयारी कैसे की है, ये ज़्यादा मैटर करता है. और यदि हमने डिसिप्लिन वे में प्रॉपर गाइडलाइंस के थ्रू ठीक से तैयारी की है, तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि पेपर पहले बताया आपको कि न टफ होता है न ईजी होता है. इतना मार्क्स तो आपको मिल जाएगा कि आप सेलेक्ट हो सकते हैं, क्वालिफाई कर सकते हैं. ठीक है. तो लास्टली ये by remaining questions in this way we have completed the process of the discussion and we have been able to answer and discuss properly in detail the entire question paper of GS paper first. And I hope that I hope that all of you would have been greatly benefited by this, and best wishes from the Vajirao and Reddy team, and thanks for your cooperation. And you just try to be prepared for the mains examination. You should not forget that mains examination is the real examination, and without any delay, we should start preparing for the mains examination. Okay, and best wishes from our side, from my side, from the Vajirao and Reddy entire team.